Thomason. A 10-day truce in Lebanon appears to be holding as President Trump calls it an historic day for Lebanon. He also is expressing optimism about the war with Iran. The president, on a swing through Nevada and Arizona, reasons that his tax cuts will help to win over voters in the upcoming midterms.
In Las Vegas Thursday night, President Trump promoted the tax cuts he signed into law last year.
This is the birthplace of a little idea known as no tax on tips. This is the birthplace.
In an appeal targeted at this year's midterm elections, Trump insisted it wasn't just tipped workers.
Every single American at every income level has more money in their pockets this week because of the Republican tax policies.
I'm Ben Thomas.
The president has nominated a former deputy surgeon general to be the next director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
The top post at the CDC has been a revolving door the past few months as Donald Trump's first nominee withdrew and the second was fired after less than a month on the job. Erica Schwartz is the president's latest nominee. In addition to being a former deputy surgeon general, Schwartz also served as chief medical officer for the U.S. Coast Guard. She holds both medical and law degrees. The Atlanta-based CDC is charged with protecting Americans from preventable health threats. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Leaving for the private sector, acting ICE Director Todd Lyons will resign the end of next month. The Artemis 2 astronauts who ignited a lunar renaissance are giving high marks to their moon ship for its performance during re-entry, especially the all-important heat shield. Stock futures sharply higher ahead of this morning's Wall Street opening bell. The Dow futures are up 498 points. Nasdaq futures better by 215 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-555-2085. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-555-2085 or biglou.com.
A 2-year-old wolf that escaped from a South Korean zoo has been captured following a 9-day search.
Daejeon officials have released social media videos showing rescuers pulling the limp wolf named Nyuko from a ditch and placing it in a carrier. Nyuko had been tranquilized and captured on a hill near an expressway early Friday after an hours-long search involving drones, police and fire personnel, according to the city's World Zoo. The wolf was taken back to the zoo, where veterinarians used a scope to remove a fish hook from its stomach, but found no other significant health issues. Nyuko had dug out of its enclosure last Wednesday, prompting a search that has drawn extensive media coverage. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
The leaders of France and the UK holding an international summit trying to advance efforts to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and secure its future. Coalition does not include the U.S. News and analysis, townhall.com. The lawyer for one of golf's biggest stars vows to fight a subpoena for prescription records in a driving while impaired case.
Tiger Woods' attorney plans to fight prosecutors' attempts to subpoena the golfer's prescription drug records. The attorney argues that Woods has a constitutional right to privacy regarding his medications. He asked a judge in Florida this week to hold a hearing to determine if the records are necessary for the investigation. Woods has pleaded not guilty to driving under the influence. Authorities say he showed signs of impairment after an accident last month. Prosecutors also demanded the names and locations of any witnesses Woods plans to present in his defense. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
Court records show former Virginia Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax was facing a court-ordered deadline to move out of his family's home before police say he killed his wife and then himself. Police say the couple going through a messy divorce. More on these stories at townhall.com.
in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The traveler said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Friday, everybody.
Yes.
It is Friday.
You are correct, sir.
Got one more warm one today.
Yep.
And then it is going to be windy.
It's going to be a little windy.
Yeah, but things are cooling down for the weekend. So, yeah, we do. Matter of fact, we do have a red flag warning that kicks in at 11 this morning and will remain in effect to 8 p.m. this evening. So,
we've reached that point now where it's not just, we don't just see tumbleweeds, we see entire families of tumbleweeds across the street. And they never use crosswalks either.
No, or look both ways.
Jaywalking jerks.
Don't even look both ways.
Oh, no.
But happy Friday. Of course, a big weekend out at the links.
The Roswell
Honda
Classic Charity Golf Tournament.
Yeah.
We'll be out there. This is my the one remote that I usually have to wake up super early for because we start at 8 o'clock both mornings.
Yeah, golf starts early.
Yeah, they like to, which makes sense because it warms up throughout the day. Although beautiful weekend for this weekend, so
sure
it should stay nice and
cool and looks like. The good news is it'll be. I mean, and I say cool. It's like 70, so it's not like freezing. No, it's gonna be nice. But and the winds are gonna be like 5 to 10, 10 to 15. So much more in the manageable. Probably better for golfing too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's not gonna. You're not gonna see a lot of dog legs, Yeah. Unless, of course, you bring your dogs. Then you'll see plenty of dog legs.
At least 4, unless your dog has a handicap.
But also bring your folding money because we're gonna have they're gonna have concessions and stuff in the pro shop and the raffle that's goes on out there, and all the proceeds go to benefit the veterans charity that we're working with this year.
Absolutely, and I believe they do the golf ball drop Sunday morning, right?
Yes, I believe it is Sunday morning.
Yeah.
I might be wrong.
Well, they'll get the Trans-Aero helicopter out there and drop the golf balls, and I think you can still get golf ball. I think you can up until Sunday. So get out there and get tickets if you haven't, or swing by Roswell Honda and get tickets today. So we do have a full slate for you, so we need to get the show going.
Yep.
Let me give you a rundown for today's show. Here in just a few minutes, we're going to have John Guano, I believe that's how you say his last name, join us with Watts Up. Watts is in WATTS, like Watts electricity.
I love good wordplay.
Yes, and they're promoting a program that New Mexicans can save. We're basically registered for the program in your businesses and encouraging people to use solar and get all kinds of discounts and stuff.
We live in the land of the solar and the wind.
Yeah, so John will explain that here. Also this hour, we're going to have Michael Briscoe join us, candidate for Chaves County Commissioner representing District 1. He'll join us here this hour as well. So we'll have a great conversation with him. In the 8 o'clock hour, Chaves County Manager Bill Williams is going to join us, give us the highlights from their last county commission meeting and things
lights
happening around the corners. Yeah, around the corner. Low lights, mid lights.
Yeah, the mid lights. The mid lights are the ones I really get excited for.
The lights, yes. But yes. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15, Greg Hull, Republican candidate for governor, going to join us here in studio. Give us have a great conversation with him. So
very political morning.
Yeah, very full day today. So let's do this. Let's get you up to date with the weather, take a quick commercial break, and then John with What's Up will join us on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. A little windy today, especially around Carlsbad and Artesia, wind gusting to 40 miles an hour. For Roswell, not quite as windy, but still pretty breezy. We'll be getting sunshine across the area, mid-80s on the afternoon high. Overnight, clear and windy, low 40s. We're getting upper 60s for the high on Sunday, following a cold front. It will stay sunny, though. Sunday and 70 on Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Come on, 2, 3. Direct from the $1 Million Quartet National Tour, Spencer Theater presents Lance Lipinski and the Lovers. Saturday evening, April 25th at 7 p.m. Lance has the rapid-fire fingers of Jerry Lee, wears the swagger of Elvis, and you'll hear Chuck Berry, Buddy Holly, Little Richard, and the Beach Boys. Lance electrifies the keyboard with unforgettable energy. See Lance Lipinski and the Lovers. Saturday evening, April 25th at the Spencer Theater. Telephone the box office, 575-336-4800, or visit SpencerTheater.com.
Feeling underwater? Van Man and the J Squad at Roswell Nissan are ready to pull you out of the sea of fees and into your next new or pre-owned vehicle. With rates as low as 1.9% and payments as low as $199 a month, plus as little as $1 down on a brand new vehicle. And we're talking rock bottom, under the sea prices. And 100% credit approval is the goal. Drive in now and get more for your trade than anywhere else. The Underwater Trade Payoff Event, on now at Roswell Nissan, 2111 West 2nd.
Exciting news for Southeast New Mexico. The Advanced Heart and Vascular Center of New Mexico in Carlsbad, home to Dr. Amanda Ryan's trusted cardiology care for over 13 years, is now part of Current Clinic. That means world-class electrophysiology services right here in Southeast New Mexico. No more 3-hour drives to see a specialist. Current Clinic is bringing advanced, life-changing treatment for atrial fibrillation, AFib, and other heart rhythm disorders close to home. Early intervention for AFib can dramatically lower your risk of stroke, and our goal is to help our community understand just how important that is. You and your loved ones deserve comprehensive, cutting-edge heart care without leaving town. If you're experiencing an irregular heartbeat or AFib symptoms, expert care is now available locally. Visit currentclinic.com today to learn more and schedule your consultation. Current Clinic, easy access to comprehensive AFib care right here in Southeast New Mexico.
At one point, Jewish leaders accused Jesus of interacting with sinners. So Jesus told them this story. Suppose one of you has 100 sheep and loses one of them. Doesn't he leave the 99 in the open country and go after the lost sheep until he finds it? And when he finds it, he joyfully puts it on his shoulders and goes home. Then he calls his friends and neighbors together and says, "Rejoice with me, for I've found my lost sheep." I tell you, in the same way, there will be more rejoicing in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous people who do not need to repent. Okay, that story just doesn't make sense. Who would leave 99 to save one? Now, the answer is simple. Jesus would. Jesus loves and cares for all people, not just the religious. He loves the sinner, the fallen, the hurt, and the damaged. The Apostle Paul states, God wants all people to be saved and to come to a knowledge of the truth. No matter how lost you may feel, Jesus is searching for you to be with him, just like that lost sheep.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. A group of 12 or more cows is called a flink. If you have only 11 cows, that's called a lot of cow pies. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 13, closing in on 14 minutes after 7 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning from What's Up, New Mexico, John Galno joining us in studio this morning. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Mike. It's nice to be here with you.
Glad to have you in, and welcome to... I guess it's kind of nice here this morning. Can't complain. We've had worse mornings, weather-wise, anyways. So, first off, before we kind of get into the program, we want to talk to people about. Give folks a little bit of background about What's Up, New Mexico, and what your organization does.
Okay. Well, we're locally based. What's Up helps out a lot of New Mexicans. Now we're only focusing on low income New Mexicans. Here with XL, as long as they have low-income documents, anywhere in between light HEAP, EBT, Medicaid, Section 8 housing, Lifeline confirmation, SSI, a lot of these documents could be used towards up to a 60% discount on their power.
Okay. So if they show proof of they're on some kind of public assistance of some kind,
of course,
that qualifies them to upgrade with deep discounts for solar and low energy options for their homes.
Of course, Excel, basically they just locally source their power from the local solar farms.
Okay.
They get subscribed to our farms, and then they'll be able to get the up to 60% discount.
And for folks not familiar with solar, it's kind of, they put the discs, the dishes, they so you're basically, at the end of the day, you can basically cut your home from the grid and you're still on power because of that. But since that, they don't cut you from the grid. What they do is you connect into the grid. And so your solar power is going to be put into the pool of power for everybody. And so what you don't use gets used by Xcel Energy. And so in essence, so that's where the discounts. And so you end up, and in the long run, I know a lot of solar folks, they have little to no electric bills, depending on the season and things and how much they use, obviously. But I know a few people, either they get a check for electric bill, or they pay like $10 or something, pretty insignificant.
That's how that works with the panels on the roof.
Mm-hmm.
This one's a little different.
Okay.
The farms are already built out.
Okay, so you
town.
just got to plug in to that grid, basically.
Yep.
So you don't even have to go and
nope.
do all the work to your house and everything.
No,
you just got to
electric
commit
work.
to saying, hey, I want to be plugged into that grid there. Got it. Okay, this is even easier.
Yeah, it's way easier. It's for the people that couldn't get the solar panels on their homes and stuff.
Okay.
For qualification basis.
Okay. Well, sometimes you're depending on the location of your home, they just can't put them on there. I mean, it's not as big an issue here because we live in the desert, but people live in the woods and stuff. That is a problem.
No, I know what you mean. It's just a different way for New Mexicans to save money on power.
Absolutely.
Without have low income documents for the government. So, like I said, a lot of people weren't able to do that, but now they're just focusing on low income subscribers with Excel to subscribe to the farm. Basically, locally source their power. No meter upgrades. No changes of power. They can also be in apartments. Complexes.
So it doesn't have to be a single family home or independent property or something like that.
They don't have to own it.
Okay.
So
it could be a rental or whatever, a lease or whatever you're doing. Yeah.
Yep. And my best belief it's for their Excel account. So whenever they sign up and we have all the subscriptions filled on the farm, then they'll start setting credits out and giving those discounts.
So it'll be
out.
probably a few months before once you sign up for the program and everything.
Yeah, we have about 300 enrollments left.
Okay.
I know it's kind of a slow process, but we're getting to them as fast as we can. That's why we're here as well to try and get as much.
Expedite that.
Of course.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So let's ask the $1 million question. If someone's saying, "Yeah, I want to sign up for this," how does that process start?
Okay, as long as they have any of these qualifying documents, has to have be dated in the last 12 months before the enrollment date, and the name must match the subscriber or the address must match the subscriber's household.
Gotcha. So basically, your utility bill or your statement, your proof of statement's got to be the addresses on your license or whatever your ID is.
Yes,
basically.
sir. Or even just the bill, the name and address on the bill.
Okay.
Even a family member in the home could have that.
Okay.
That address on their document.
Okay, so it doesn't necessarily have to be the head of household.
Nope.
Gotcha.
Anyone in the household, I believe, that has low-income documents that shows that household.
Perfect. Okay. Excellent.
Benefits.
Excellent. As long as that person lives in said dwelling, the home or the structure qualifies.
Perfect.
Basically.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Excellent. So, do they start the process online? Can they come see you direct? How does that, or get on a phone?
The way it works is they'll just give me a call over.
Okay.
My number is 244-4710.
Okay.
575, of course, here locally. You'll be able to contact me, and then I'll be able to shoot over to scan these documents in for you and get you subscribed. It doesn't cost you anything.
Okay.
We do need a form of bank card or ACH. Just because they need to be subscribed to the farm.
Gotcha.
But there's no charge. Just to sign up. So.
Very good. I know, and of course you can go online. If you go Watts WATTS up NM, I believe .com. You can go and kind of read if you want to kind of read about the program and learn a little bit. You kind of do your own deep research on some of this stuff here, and before you sign up, that's a great way to kind of read up on it and learn a little bit more about the program. If you're kind of like, well, it sounds interesting, but I kind of want to know a little more. The website will give you a lot more information.
Yes,
there.
sir. That's perfect. Thank you so much.
Good deal. But yeah, sign up today and start now. Like you said, you're you're kind of in a window of getting, like, I guess, 300 more subscribers before we can kind of officially fire up the program here, so to speak.
This farm with the 60%.
This particular section, gotcha.
Yeah, it's got around 300 enrollments left.
Okay, and then they can flip the switch and power it up, basically.
Yeah, then I think we're going to be waiting for phase 2 of the community solar.
Okay. So if you want to get in on this phase, and early bird gets a worm kind of situation on this.
Yeah, they get a 60% discount worm.
Excellent. Excellent. So again, to sign up everything, give your phone number out one more time, John.
All right. It's going to be John at 575-244-4710.
Very good. And like we said, go online, Watts, WATTS, upnm.com, and you can read more, learn more about the program, and kind of do a deeper research on it and see if this works best for you and your family here. So, and like you said, anybody that lives in the household that can qualify, so not necessarily the head of household, maybe they're not the ones getting WIC or whatever public assistance, but if they live in the household, then that makes your home qualifier for it. So and I don't care what anybody says, any opportunity to save a little money, you ought to take advantage of it. I don't care how well off you are, how broke you are. Everyone wants to save money. John, is there anything we missed?
I think we got it all. I thank you for your time, Mike. And
no problem. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for doing it. And any other updates, anything we can do, let us know. Come on by.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me today.
All right, and let us know when we get the 300.
Sounds good, sir.
Thank you, John. All right, it is closing in on 7:22. Let's pause for a quick commercial break. On the other side of the break, we're going to have Michael Briscoe join us. He is today wearing his county commission candidate hat, as most might know him by day as head of the detention center here. But he is running for county commission representing District 1. So he'll join us here on the other side. But quick commercial break. We'll be back on the other side. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters. Don't go away. If I can get the button to go. There it goes.
Roswell Hyundai's spring sales event is flying in, and these deals are out of this world. Right now at Roswell Hyundai, get 0 down, no payments for 90 days, and 0% APR for up to 72 months on select models. Roswell Hyundai wants to get you behind the wheel, even if your credit is less than stellar. Our experts will work hard to make it happen for you. But don't wait. Fly over to Roswell Hyundai while the selection is at its best. The spring sales event on now at Roswell Hyundai, 1909 West 2nd.
At Ocotillo Family Practice, Pediatrics, and OMED Spa, our team is here for you. Nancy Walker, Fallon Moody, and Tialana Watts are family nurse practitioners offering expert care in family practice, pediatrics, women's health, and aesthetics. Nancy also provides advanced hormone therapy for men and women, including hormone pellet implants that help patients feel their best. Plus, meet Brittany Harrell, our skilled nurse injector, offering a full range of aesthetic procedures to help you look and feel confident. Same-day and walk-in patients are always welcome. Visit Ocotillo Family Practice, Pediatrics, and OMED Spa at 607 West Country Club Road in Roswell. Your family, your health, your beauty, all in one place.
If you plug your nose, you can't tell the difference between an apple, potato, and an onion, unless you open your eyes. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 23 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, wearing a different hat than maybe most people know him for today, but Michael Briscoe back joining us in studio this morning. This time, hoping to represent you as a Chaves County Commissioner here in representing District 1. Good morning, Mike. How you doing today?
Good morning, Mike. Thank you for having me.
Well, anytime. Appreciate it. I guess first questions first. What made you say, you know what, I wanna? Because for folks who don't know, Michael, most people probably know Mike as the warden, the head of the detention center here for Chaves County. So what made you say, you know what, I'd like to take a stab at being a county commissioner?
So actually the reasoning for it is, one of the main reasons for it is because I always try to leave something better than I found it.
Sure.
I always try to help out the next guy.
Gotcha.
And I'm retiring in December from corrections, so I'll be done with corrections.
Huh? You're not that old.
I could have retired 3 years ago. I am currently only 44 years old.
I was about to say, you're younger than me, man. What are you talking about?
Hey, but I started at that jail as a kid.
Sure. So, well, you've been, I guess so.
I started there at 19
Working
years
there,
old.
not as an inmate. Come
right,
on.
Yeah. Some days you're not sure, though.
Right.
But
the fine line.
I started there at 19 years old and did about a year and a half there before I went to the penitentiaries.
Okay.
So I went to the penitentiaries, and I ran the penitentiaries for, the last 19 years.
Okay.
And then I had 32 days left to retire, and instead of retiring, I came over to the Chaves County Detention Center.
Okay.
So I came over there to help it out because it was kind of in a bad way.
Sure, yeah. If folks remember, that was kind of right around the time. I remember, in fact, didn't they have some kind of an incident right before you came on with a not an uprising, but I guess kind of a bit of a.
It wasn't really an uprising. What happened was it was just in such bad condition,
right,
that the last warden, he just couldn't handle it.
So things went bad, but anyway, you turned it around. That's
right.
The moral of the story.
So anyway, back to the first question. The reason why is because I was thinking about retirement. What am I going to do?
Sure.
And I mean, I have plenty of things to do, but I wanted to help the next guy, the next warden. Everything we've done so far, I don't want it to fall in the wayside.
Right. You want to make sure that.
Right. I have a good team over there, and I need to support them people. So I decided, you know what? I got to put myself in a position to help to make the change to help them. So that's why I'm here running for county commissioner.
Very good. And obviously, your service in corrections this whole time is going to serve you well as a county commission. I mean, at the end of the day, no one's going to know the budget of the jail better than you.
That's correct.
And obviously. And to be fair, everything that you get at the jail comes through the commission. So to have that education on, okay, that's not wasted money, that's legit money, or no, that's pipe dream money, or you can kind of sniff that out pretty quick.
I'm the only candidate running for Chaves County that actually runs a multi-million-dollar budget for Chaves County. So the policies and procedures, I'm well aware of.
And in essence, you're kind of on your own island too, whereas. Where it's kind of like, as warden, as the head of the detention center, at the end of the day, yes, you're plugged in and connected with the county, but you're also your own isolated thing and your own independent, like, for instance, COVID and those things hit. Guess what? You're your own isolated world, your own. So you're, in essence, you're kind of running your own little city,
right?
In essence, so you're kind of warden. Yes, we think of the movies and we think of the guy running the jail and making sure, but in essence, you're a mayor,
right?
Is kind of because it's not all sexy. Lock up, and a lot of it's the budget's this, and making sure that adequate coverage for this, and there's proper medical or food, whatever, making sure the toilet's flush to everything else. So it's kind of more of a, like you said, a mayor or that kind of job than you would think of. So I'm guessing from a county, it's kind of just it's just fish in a just slightly bigger pond kind of thing.
Kind of. I mean, and the jail is actually not the only governmental budget I've ran. I also I've been a public servant. I started out being a public servant at 16 years old.
Oh, wow.
For Chaves County as a junior volunteer firefighter.
Nice.
I was out there fighting fires. And
you ever get a chance to get out there and put fires out every once in a while?
Oh, yeah. So I actually started out then. And then later I switched over to the District 8 Volunteer Fire Department, which is ran by the penitentiary.
Okay.
And I worked my way up there from firefighter to chief. I actually ran the department for about 5 years prior to me leaving the penitentiary.
So you got to have, it's like two whole different careers there, pretty much.
It is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my public servant's not just in detention or corrections, it's also in fire departments.
Gotcha.
I have a big heart for our volunteer fire departments as well.
So, transitioning to the next level here as county commission, what's kind of the strengths and weaknesses for you? You see, I mean, obviously strengths, but what are the things you're like, okay, these are the parts I'm going to have to kind of brush up on a little bit as that's not really part of my normal experience I've had in the past.
So with that being said, this ain't something I just jumped into and said, hey, I'm going to do this.
Sure.
So I planned this out and I thought about it. So for the last year and a half, since I decided I'm going to make this jump, I've been researching and learning every policy for the whole, not just for the detention. So I've been reviewing county flood, road, joy centers, every facet. Aspect I've been learning and dabbling.
That's been a sleeping pill every night because I'm sure you read a couple chapters of that before you go to bed and you sleep like a lot.
And actually that's the fun reading, to be honest. The tough reading and the boring reading is reading all the policies and procedures behind the Secretary of State.
Oh boy.
To run a campaign.
Just the roll to run, huh?
It was wild to figure out how many rules there really are behind a campaign.
Sure.
And one little thing can get you knocked out of the race. And I'm not going to get knocked out of the race. I'm going to win this race. So I thought, well, I got to know the policies and procedures.
Sure. So I had to brush up on all that kind of stuff.
I'm big time into policies and procedures. Actually, for the Department of Corrections, I was actually on the policy revision team. So every month we would take 4 policies and take them, read them, learn them, flip them, make the corrections needed for just for evolving times.
Mm-hmm.
So writing policy is nothing new for me.
Gotcha.
Like I've been doing that for
and again, getting back to the other thing, the job is the warden or obviously chief in the fire. Those jobs are administrative jobs. They don't unless really things go down, they're generally not the ones in the heat of the moment type of thing. They're pushing papers.
You say that, but no, I'm not that kind of management. So I spend time in the back. I have a saying.
Well, I imagine it's a little different at the corrections where if something goes down in there, like I said, it's its own bubble. Everybody's on call.
If there's something going down, I'm leaving that desk and I'm going to the back and putting handcuffs on something.
Sure.
Or fixing something. I'm not I don't run that jail behind a desk or in front of a computer. I run that jail in the back.
Don't wear the suit like the guy on TV, the warden on TV.
No.
He's in his uniform.
I'm not your cookie cutter mold warden. Trust me. I work for my COs. My COs don't work for me.
Sure.
So whatever I can do to make their job easier, smarter, faster, and safer, that's what I do every day.
Sure.
And even if that means I just go relieve them because they need a break, I'm going to go relieve them and throw their food trays, and I'm going to run their logs.
Sure.
That's just my management style.
Just if you're willing to ask basically the lowest entry level guy on the team to do it, you're not willing to do yourself kind of thing.
It's not that I'm not willing to do it. I'm gonna do it first just to show them now.
Exactly. So I wouldn't ask them unless I'd sit down and do it and roll up my sleeves and do it myself. And this is something too that I think a lot of people don't realize is the level to be a CO, regardless, not let alone warden and everything, but. It's like a law enforcement officer. To be a good one, the patience, the communication skills, they have to be top notch. Well, I almost argue it's almost a little even more than that in the jail.
It is.
Because you're with them 24/7. Like on a police officer, it's that incident on the street, whatever hours in booking or whatever if need be. But you're literally this person's whole life. You're telling them when they can go to the bathroom, when they can eat, when they can sleep, when they can do everything. So when you're controlling that communication level, that level of relationship is very important. And so you guys, your experience, probably the level of patience and dealing with people to get them to do things that they didn't want to do, whatever, or vice versa, arguing with people they don't necessarily agree with. Obviously. As a politician, there's a lot of that going on, but I would imagine that side serves you well too. Where I've dealt with the probably some of the craziest situations in front of me. There's nothing in this commission meeting that's going to rattle me. You know what I mean?
So the job of a correction officer, you're actually right.
Yeah.
The job of a correction officer, you're not just slapping handcuffs on somebody. At times, you're a mentor, you're a brother, you're a sister, you're an EMT, you're a psych provider. You are the you're the first responder's first response.
Mm-hmm.
Not to belittle our cops and our law enforcement, but they deal with these offenders for 30 minutes during arrest.
Right. Then they become your problem, basically.
Firefighters get to leave when the flames are out.
Sure.
But our correction officers, they live day to day with these people.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to build a relationship. They have to build that relationship to manage that place in a proper working order. That way we reduce the violence in there.
Sure. And you got to know the hierarchy, so to speak, because let's face it. Whenever you put a community of people together, it doesn't matter if it's in a jail or in town.
That's correct.
They're going to form their hierarchy, their cliques, their own little niches, so to speak, and that doesn't change in jail either.
It's a people business. Is really what it is.
Yeah.
And you know what? Everyone asks me, well, do y'all get to carry guns and you get to carry tasers and all this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell them the same thing. The best tool my COs have on their whole duty belt, the best thing we can equip them with is their mouth. Verbal judo de-escalate the situations. If you de-escalate a situation, what it does is it eliminates your risk of harm, of litigation, of bills. So we really preach on
and here's where the training comes in and your experience comes in. That it's your mouth in the judo, like you said, but it's a come and go. It's because you want to show compassion, but you can't mistake it for weakness.
Right.
And so there's the juggle where you kind of you can be human to them, but at the same time, when push comes to shove, they got to understand and respect whatever authority you're. And so that's a tricky thing to balance, to be a friend and / protector / enforcement person in that room. You know?
It is tricky, but if you do this, the three things we preach is firm, fair, and consistent. If you're firm, fair, and consistent every day, then they know what to expect, and you get more things done with them.
Sure.
And it's definitely a respect thing. We respect them. Just because they're in there doesn't mean we're going to disrespect them.
Absolutely. But I imagine some of those similar tactics, maybe to not extreme, is something that you deal with in the commission meeting all the time. Of course. Just because for folks that when you look at the county commission, yes, primary job is balance the budget, running the county, and making sure. But there is so many things. Like next hour when we have Bill Williams on to talk about the last meeting, they'll talk about a few things at the county, or like PACs and things. Like there's a lot of things that especially when it comes to land issues or water issues, that the commission fights for us, but it's in bigger global, so it's partner with other counties, other states, other things like
national.
that.
And, national level.
And so there's a lot of that gymnastics you're talking about going on there, and do we want to align with this group, or is this group ridiculous? We need to find another group that's more got teeth to it, or whatever. So other than making sure the water's on, the jail's working, and the roads are good, they're also doing that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
too.
there's a lot goes behind a county commissioner that people don't realize, that they don't see. And our county commissioners are our voice, they're our advocates for Chaves County, and the better informed decisions they make, the better it makes it for our everyday life.
Sure.
These guys, this commission, what they do is that they set policies, procedures, and they make decisions that directly impact us as a community members.
Absolutely.
The decisions they make at that table really do impact us.
Absolutely. They are kind of our protectors of the Constitution, as well as much, like a sheriff would be. But, the county commission also serves in that role, too, is very much. And so, but as far as the day-to-day minutia stuff, I imagine it's not a whole lot different than the position of warden, is it? As far as balance the budgets and the numbers and all. I mean, it's just a difference. Instead of just jail stuff, now you got road department stuff and the various other offices and things like that. So I imagine that side's probably pretty seamless for you. It's just it's numbers are numbers. It's just different boxes, basically, kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and I believe that I am the best candidate.
Sure.
The other two candidates running against me, I think, are really good guys, and the only thing is I think I have more to bring to the table.
Gotcha. Experience and things like that.
Regardless of the way this goes, I think that District 1 will be well represented. Like I said, I believe it wholeheartedly that
Sure.
they're good guys. I just have more to bring to the table than they do.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is, we're a small town, man. I mean, it's county, and after June's over, odds are we're all working together again, because at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We want a great county. We want the best county we can possibly have. Everyone has different ideas on what that is. Right. But at the end of the day, everybody, and I'm going to take a stab that the other two candidates that aren't county commissioner are going to be continue to stay involved in the community. I'm very much so. You would be. You're not one of that gentleman. But that being said, you're like saying, well, I would like to do this, and I think I've got the experience. I've got the relationships too. That's pretty important. Because of your position as warden, you've dealt with every county commission, past and present, since you've served in that role. Yep. Other county administrators as well, and so forth. So, and like you said, you've seen highs and lows points of Chaves County since you've served.
I make it a habit to learn something from everybody. So for the last 3 years, I've sat in those county commissioner meetings and seen decisions be made, and I sit back and think, I wouldn't have ruled that way. I would have thought this, or so. Basically, in what I've been doing for 3 years is I've been a county commissioner in the queues, right? Just thinking, okay, how would I have answered this? How would I have explained this? How could I have made that better?
Well, at a district, the jail district, was that that'd be the 6th district again? Yeah. You were commissioner of the 6th district.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a lot that I have sat back and seen that I think that we could change in Chaves County. I think that. For one, our volunteer fire departments, I think that we could fight better to get them the adequate tools and training that they need.
And like you said, you have experience in fire, so you kind of know what they need.
19 years in volunteer fire.
Yeah.
But I know in our rural areas, that's the lifeline. Our volunteer fire departments are our lifeline to protect our rural communities. And I believe that we could do better, giving them more adequate training and more tools.
Mm-hmm.
So that lays heavy on my heart, is because I know the need there.
Right.
Another one is roads. Our roads are under par. Let's say they're under par, and some of them are not safe to travel down. Especially after the floods. The floods knocked out some of our roads, and I think that we could have done a little better job of stepping up and getting those roads repaired.
Be more proactive on getting that done.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And our road guy, Joe West, I have a good relationship with him, and he does a great job.
Sure.
And they just got some tools this year to patch some of those roads and make it easier. And they've been out. They've been hot and heavy. I've seen them out. But I think there needs to be a better replacement schedule or a better eye on those roads.
Gotcha.
They are assessed every. There's an assessment plan for every road in Chaves County.
Yeah.
And the commissioners go out and they evaluate these roads.
Sure. I know. And then they have the closure or open,
Right.
every year, usually right around this time, I think,
Right.
is about the time where they'll go and.
I believe they're going on the 21st.
Yeah, imagine I'm
22nd.
I'll bet everyone a dime or a nickel that Bill will talk about that next hour.
Yeah, he's going to come in and tell you here in just a second.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right, and that is something that with the road situation and doing, and to be honest, that's when it comes to what people care about.
Right.
At the end of the day, people are like, hey, is my water turned on? Does my roads work? Is my trash getting taken out? And is my street safe? And and that's the
and
big.
As far as the streets, the assessment plan, I think that maybe should be done twice a year. I don't think one time a year is adequate. I think that maybe our commissions should go out twice a year and reevaluate those roads.
Well, and
or after the major incidents, and they may have after the floods. I believe the commissions probably should go out and evaluate some of the roads.
And I'm going to I don't know numbers, but I'm going to say probably Chaves County's grown in numbers, and when you grow in numbers, that grows on wear and tear on roads, which means you got to maintain them more frequently.
But back on that, you said Chaves County has grown. Not really. I mean, in the last 20 years, we've probably went from 58,000 to 60,000.
Okay.
I mean, the economic growth here could be a lot better. Going up 2,000 people is not very many.
Nah, it just feels like there's more people here than 25 years ago, but I could be.
I think it's just because we're older.
It might be. It could be. I don't know. It just feels like more people are on the road, more people are in the way.
It's not really more people. It's because we're older and your patience ran thin. That's what it is.
I'm not going to. You know what? I'm not going to question that one. You're probably spot on.
But we really haven't grown. I mean, 2,000 people in the last 20 years or so.
Sure.
We should do better than that.
Yeah.
We need to bring more economic growth right here into Chaves County, just so our communities can thrive.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, and I don't care what anybody says. Everyone's looking for more business, more opportunities. People get excited when they hear about new business X or whatever, new opportunity here. Even with the less sexy stuff, the solar farms and some of the stuff that's coming into the infrastructure side.
And that's a big deal right now.
Absolutely.
The data centers, the solar farms,
Yeah.
the windmills.
Yeah.
That's a big deal, and that's a lot of people have a passion for that, and they're. It seems like everyone's one way or another, they're absolutely against it or absolutely for it. There's hardly any gray area.
Well, and this is something I believe because look at Southeast New Mexico, and oil and gas is king.
Yes.
Chaves County is a little more diverse than Lee and Eddy County as far as where money comes in. That being said, we cannot be diverse enough on that. I mean, and what I mean by it is we're not heavy into oil patches, Lee and Eddy County. But that being said, when oil's bad, we don't suffer like Lee and Eddy counties do. But that's because we do have a little diversity. But let's face it, we need to keep, because let's face it, the farming and ranching side, that's declined and evolved greatly over the last 20, 30 years here.
And you're right. We don't have as much oil and gas as Lee and Eddy County, but what we have more of is agriculture.
Yeah.
So we need, in my opinion, what we need to do is we need to protect our agriculture. Instead of throwing up a solar farm, covering up agriculture land, put it out somewhere where there's no grazing, where there's no chance of agriculture.
Sure.
Life,
where it's not useful for
Exactly.
livestock or other purpose. Yeah.
Solar, put it on roofs rather than covering up our lands.
Sure.
The footprint that these solar farms are leaving on our land,
Mhm.
I believe, could be detrimental in the long run.
Gotcha.
And the data centers as well. So I'm not against them. What I'm saying is let's be more. Let's have a better strategy as to
Sure.
where we're going to place them.
Fit them in something that's more appropriate to our
Exactly.
our
I mean,
terrain and lifestyle.
If Rancher Joe out 100 miles east of here wants to put a data farm on there, and it ain't going to cause no problems with no one else, and it's not going to cover up any of his grazing land,
Mhm.
why not?
Sure.
You know?
But if it's useful farmland for
Right.
crops or for livestock, whatever,
Right.
Then that should be priority one here. And let's face it, I don't care what anybody says. Look at the world we're living in.
Right.
The last thing we need to be doing is taking away farming and ranching. We already have less people in the food industry, more mouths to feed.
Right.
And I'm not a math wizard, but you do those numbers and they don't work. And so the more we take away from farming and ranching, we're literally taking food out of our own mouths.
And one thing about it, these data centers is the big topic of that. The data centers is the amount of water that they use.
Okay.
That's going to take away from agriculture.
I guess cooling for the
Cooling,
electronics
yes.
and all the what have yous.
So typically, a data center on an average size runs 300 to 500,000 gallons of water a day. Right?
Gotcha. Okay.
And that scared everyone when we heard those numbers. We're like, we can't do that. But it's a closed circuit. It's basically the same as your car. You put water in your radiator, you don't fill it up every day. It just runs through.
It just cycle. As long as there's no leaks, in theory, it should stay.
Right. So I mean, I think the water portion of that scared a lot of people, and me as well, until I learned that it's on a closed loop, and they're cooled by air.
Gotcha. So you have to set aside X amount of gallons of water, but that number will not increase or suck more or less. It's basically the same X amount of gallons as long as there's not leaks or whatever. That's all they're going to need.
Right. Exactly.
Makes sense. Gotcha.
So I mean, I believe that we should bring in more economic growth. That we need more stuff for our youth.
Sure.
I mean, we got a trampoline park that's going to go up I think last spring, or is it this spring?
I don't know. That's like the.
I've been reading the spring sign for 2 years.
That's like the what's the Game of Thrones Winter's Coming? We've been hearing that one for 6 years.
So I think for economic growth is good and stuff for our community to do.
Sure.
Our Joy Centers, I think there's more stuff we could do inside of our Joy Centers for our elderly and
seniors,
for our veterans. I think there's a lot that we have.
Well, and I think some of that, like COVID, like we lost, a lot of that went away, and to be honest, not all of it came back.
Right.
Some of it did, but I think we need to kind of get back to those pre-COVID levels and beyond for, as far as the community stuff.
Right.
Yeah. It makes sense.
And also one thing about me is I'm not afraid to fight. I'm not afraid to fight. I'm not afraid to be a voice or an advocate.
Sure.
I'm not afraid to speak my mind or to go to bat for the average day Joe. I spent most of my career batting for the underdog. If you think about it, volunteer firefighters are the redheaded stepchild of the fire world. Corrections officers are the redheaded stepchild of law enforcement.
Makes sense.
And I spent my whole career standing up for the little guy.
Sure.
And that's exactly what I plan to
You
bring
picked
to
the job
table
that
here.
the popular kids didn't want, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Because like you said, they want to be the paid fire. They want the whole deal. And like you said, in law enforcement, no, I don't want to be a correction officer. I want to be a cop. I want to be SWAT. I want to be, whatever that is. Yeah.
God created correction officers so that way firefighters and cops can have a hero. That's exactly why we are there.
Oh, man. Imagine when they go have dinner together. Get the firefighters, the cops, and the COs in a room. And
You did that the other day to us.
We did. Yeah.
And
hey, that wasn't my fault.
Yeah, I was going to say you did that to us the other day, and you should have heard the conversation when we left the building. Like, as soon as we got out the door, it got worse.
I imagine. They did behave themselves on air.
You did that to us 2 days ago.
That's funny. And peel back the curtain a little bit more. Ironically, Daniel Fuller.
Yeah.
I'm living. My house I've been living in for 7 years, I bought from him 7 years.
Oh, really?
Him and his wife, yeah.
No, Daniel's a good kid. I know his dad and his brothers, his whole family. Actually, Daniel's being a firefighter didn't surprise me for him because his grandpa runs His grandpa was my very first volunteer fire department chief.
Oh, wow.
So Fuller's grandpa runs the Midway Volunteer Fire Department.
Okay, yeah, the Fuller family's got a...
And that's a whole family business for it.
It is, yeah. So it does not surprise. It's kind of like a hotling playing quarterback in Artesia.
Yeah.
There's one every few years.
Exactly. Yep. And actually, so Fuller's dad was actually my youth pastor. And, you know, he actually led me to God, and he was vital in my religion.
Okay.
So he was like, I know that family pretty good.
So it's a personal level, not just on the job, but
no.
you know, they impact you greatly in
Yes, they do.
shaping you who you are today very much. Well, awesome. That's Chaves County.
Right.
Like at the end of the day, that's Chaves County, and that's kind of getting back to that conversation we had earlier. You know, yes, you the guys you're running against are two quality people too.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we all live together. We all work together, and I know after the election's over here, they're going to be back in those same rooms trying to make sure things happen. Now, just real quick, just question, because this is a little bit unique this time. Now that now obviously there is no Democrat candidate for commission, so basically you're deciding a county commissioner at the primary here in June.
Right.
That being said, this is also a unique opportunity because they're open primaries now. So Democrats can vote in essence, and so really there's going to be people that kind of have a first time getting to vote for you.
Well, our declined estates. So the declined estates can actually vote in the primary. And
Okay.
You're right. I mean, there's a lot of things that opened up this time.
Sure.
So back prior to this, they didn't worry. You know, your Republican candidate didn't worry about the declined estate votes. They weren't reaching out to them, and now they're able to. So.
Does that tweak how you adjust your campaign, so to speak, a little bit?
Of course it does.
Because your audience is a little bit broader now,
Right,
I guess.
exactly.
It's truly, and we can argue if it's good or bad, but it some places like this, now it really does get everybody to vote for a sheriff. And go, because if you live in Chaves County and you're not a Republican, you really didn't get a chance to vote for sheriff or county commission for that matter, and as long as I can remember.
Well, you only get to vote in the general election.
Exactly,
You know,
but by then that decision's made.
it's done.
So, yeah.
Because there's not enough Democrats to run for those positions.
So, so this is pay attention. You know, people that may have not got a chance to vote before get to vote in this primary. So, pay attention to those decisions you get to make on your county commission, your sheriff, and all these other races too.
Right. I mean, get out and do your homework as a voter. Do your homework.
Mm-hmm.
See what the.
You know, one thing I forgot to ask you, and I usually do this at the beginning. Remind folks what District 1, kind of what part of the county does that cover? I forgot that. I usually try to get that in, but I got right into talking and forgot to ask that question.
So, District 1 is the southeastern portion of Roswell.
Okay.
So if you think about it on a map, if you're leaving the base heading north, anything on the right-hand side of the road, the east side of the road of Main, and down Hobson, right? So anything on the east side of the road all the way up to 2nd Street.
Okay.
At 2nd, it jumps over one block, and it follows the railroad tracks going north, basically all the way out towards the Old Clovis Highway.
Okay.
And then there is a Precinct 5, which it takes over the Goddard High School area.
Okay.
But it's just right there. And then south, it goes down on Hobson all the way down to State Road 2.
Okay.
And then south to Orchard Park.
Okay.
And then Orchard Park back east.
Gotcha. Okay. I got a kind of a good general idea there.
Right.
It's so like I said, that south end there.
Right.
Yeah.
District 1 is our biggest agriculture.
Gotcha.
area, I believe.
So most of the farm and ranch, and they're in your district. Right. So very good. Which kind of makes sense your stance on things.
I mean, I grew up over at Graves Farm and Garden. So, I mean, agriculture is nothing new to me. So,
how many pumpkins you chunked over the years?
I couldn't tell you. We have more than I'll ever want to see again.
Did you ever play a zombie?
Yes. I didn't play a zombie. I just helped set that up.
Oh, yeah, you were just part of the assembly team.
Yeah, Andrew Graves out there is the one who set that up, and
that was a lot of fun.
And I hope we are able to bring it back soon because
I wouldn't mind. Yeah,
it was a big hit.
Yeah,
it takes a lot to put that show together.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of work. And, I mean, just the core maze alone is like a year-long endeavor.
Yeah,
you know.
and putting that together for that event it's all fine and dandy. But what people don't realize is they still have to farm the normal farm.
Yeah, they got a ranch to run. They got a farm to run. Yeah,
extra they have to do.
Yeah. By the way, if you're ever looking for produce, like obviously people come out to the farmers market during the summer,
Right.
but get out there every day. They've got great produce and, homemade, people bringing their salsa and eggs. It's not just green chili and other stuff. You get fresh eggs. You get all kinds of neat stuff at that market there too. So you never know. You kind of they got their staples and whatever's in season, but you kind of went in and you're like, oh man, I didn't know I was in it. You grab them. I usually go in there hungry every time on purpose because there's always something you can grab and go and eat.
That's the worst idea ever. Then you buy everything.
I know.
So what you do is you eat first, then go there, and you really only buy what you really, really want.
Well, I kind of want to give myself an excuse to buy things I don't want or need. So
then you're right on track.
Because I'm just like, oh yeah, I want that. But reeling this back in because we're almost out of time.
Okay.
If folks, like we said, we're coming up here the last couple weeks. But if folks are more interested, want to get involved, hey, maybe want to say I want to, help pass out signs or help do. What's the way they can get in touch with you?
So there's a couple different ways. One, I have my website. We have a campaign website launched. It's just michaelbriscoe.com.
Okay.
And once you go on there, there's different areas you can click into from everything request a yard sign to request a big sign to send me a question or an email to I want to be involved and help pass out flyers.
Sure. Okay. But if you want to get in touch with Michael Briscoe, that's the way to do it.
Right.
So, very good.
And not only that, they can reach out by phone too. My phone's on my website. It's 575-578-9790.
Very good.
If they have a question, they can reach out to me. And honestly, I like all the questions because at the end of the day, I like the questions because it strengthens my knowledge.
Sure.
Because
if you don't know the answer, now you're inspired to look it
exactly.
up.
Exactly. There's been some questions that have hit me that I had to tell them, I honestly don't know this.
Yeah.
But give me a second. I'm going to learn.
I'm going to research
because
it.
Because if I don't know
it,
I know someone who does, or I know the policy where to go to.
Well, and odds are you'll probably come across it again if you don't. You know what I mean? At some point or something.
And not only that, but reach back out. So if you're going to tell someone you're going to do it, do it.
Sure.
Don't give false hopes or anything. If I tell someone I'm going to do something, that's what I'm going to do. That's why early on.
You sure you want to be a politician? That's usually not. I'm just kidding.
No. Well,
I was making a joke. I was like, that's not a trait of a politician.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not a politician. I'm definitely not a politician. But that's just the way I was raised. If you shake someone's hand, tell them you're going to do something, you do it.
Sure. Absolutely.
That's just the way it happens.
I would think that's a value all of us should be positioning here, and it doesn't, unfortunately, but it does too. But Mike, as always, appreciate the visit here, and anytime, and of course. We always appreciate what you do in your day job right now as warden and keeping that place going. And if you ever get a chance to take a tour of that place, do. It's impressive. I got to do it at Leadership Roswell 7 years ago, and
it's better now.
It is. You were running. This was about a couple. I don't remember. It was 3-4 years ago. It was a couple years ago. But you were running the show then, and it's an amazing. I mean, I don't want to go there because it's a jail, but as far as jails go, I was like,
Mike, I got a padded cell for you. I know where you need to be.
You ain't lying.
I'm a good judge of character.
I do need these things. Hey, you throw me a sandwich once in a while, I'll be all right.
Yeah, weekend getaway, let me know.
Awesome. Well, thank you here. Good luck in this race, and anything we can do to help, please let us know.
Thank you. I just ask that our voters just reach out and make sure they get out to the polls.
Absolutely.
Get out to the voting
Vote,
machines.
yes. And like you said, and to be honest, the primary is going to be your chance. A county commission, sheriff, that decision's made in June, not in November.
You're right.
Make sure you vote here in this primary. So because you won't have a say in November on that. So.
Yeah, I just asked everyone for their vote on June 2nd. You know, I am the best candidate, and I will serve you well. Anything I said I'm going to do it.
Awesome.
That's just the way I was raised.
Awesome. Michael Briscoe, candidate for county commission representing District 1. Thank you very much, and we'll see you here down the road because that's what we do.
Awesome.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, thank you, Mike.
All right, it is closing in on 7:59. Let's pause for weather, and then we'll wrap up here before news. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. A little windy today, especially around Carlsbad and Artesia. Wind gusting to 40 miles an hour. For Roswell, not quite as windy, but still pretty breezy. We'll be getting sunshine across the area. Mid-80s on the afternoon high. Overnight, clear and windy. Low 40s. We're getting upper 60s for the high on Sunday. Following a cold front, it will stay sunny, though. Sunday and 70 on Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
All right, it is closing in on 8 o'clock. Town Hall News is up next. I'm going to try to do something here. I don't think I'm going to succeed, but when you do things with this program, yeah, it's not going to work. Oh, well, it was a good, noble effort. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, or Roswell, New Mexico. We'll be back on the other side news.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. President Trump and Iran's top diplomat are reading off the same page. Their separate announcements on social media a short time ago, sending oil prices tumbling while stocks soar.
Iran's foreign minister says the crucial Strait of Hormuz trade route is declared completely open for commercial vessels. Abbas Agrachi said the move was made, quote, in line with the ceasefire in Lebanon and for the remaining period of ceasefire. Ships would have use of the coordinated route laid out by Iranian authorities. Iran's deputy foreign minister says Tehran rejects any temporary ceasefire and is seeking a comprehensive end to the war across the region. A Hezbollah official announced that the group will approach the ceasefire with caution and vigilance. Bernie Bennett reporting.
More on the 10-day Israel-Hezbollah truce in Lebanon. The BBC's Hugo Bishega in Beirut.
Hezbollah is indicating that it will abide by the ceasefire. Obviously, its supporters have been suffering because of this war. But at the end of the day, Hezbollah is keeping its weapons. Invading Israeli troops remain inside Lebanese territory. And Israel, according to the deal, may even continue to attack Lebanon. So this gives you an idea of how difficult the situation is. The Lebanese are exhausted, desperate for some respite, but this may be a pause and not the end of the conflict here.
President Trump says he'd have no problem extending the soon-to-expire U.S. truce with Iran, provided the prospects are good for a permanent peace accord, and that fairly quickly. Mr. Trump says the Iran war has been going swimmingly, to use his word. He says it should wrap up pretty soon. Another round of U.S.-Iran peace talks could take place this upcoming weekend. And on Wall Street right now, the Dow is up 750 points, gain of 1.5%. The NASDAQ ahead 287, and the S&P is up 69 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
I talk to a lot of great companies. Very few of them actually literally surprised me, but Fellowship Home Loans sure did.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
From some not-so-friendly sources in the Mideast and elsewhere. Exhibit A, some remarks from the head of the International Energy Agency.
IEA Executive Director Fatih Birol painted a sobering picture of the global repercussion of what he called, quote, the largest energy crisis we've ever faced, stemming from the pinch off of oil, gas, and other vital supplies through the Strait of Hormuz. Dr. Birol says the impact would be, quote, higher petrol prices, higher gas prices, higher electricity prices. In Europe, he said, quote, I can tell you soon we will hear the news that some of the flights from City A to City B could be canceled as a result of lack of jet fuel. Bernie Bennett reporting.
Australia's most decorated living veteran, Ben Robert Smith, out on bail 10 days after being charged with war crimes in Afghanistan. He says he's innocent, saying he never killed a single unarmed Afghan. News and analysis, townhall.com. The House says yes to a controversial surveillance program.
The House extended until April 30th a U.S. spy program that allows U.S. agencies to collect and analyze overseas communications without a warrant. The program would have expired April 20th. Georgia Republican Austin Scott wanted the program extended for 5 years.
We cannot allow Section 702 to lapse, not at a moment where our adversaries are expanding their capabilities.
Massachusetts Democrat Jim McGovern and even some Republicans said absolutely not.
A 5-year reauthorization, 5 years, and Republicans threw it together on the back of a napkin in a back room in the middle of the night.
Donna Warder, Washington.
Fords recalling almost 1.4 million F-150 pickups. Gear shift issue could cause drivers to lose control. The recall, F-150 6-speed automatic transmissions produced between March 12, 2014, August 18, 2017. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel witch and what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
That's Deuce.
Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell Talk FM. Happy Friday.
And we do mean
Happy Friday. I hope your Friday is the happiest of Fridays.
If of all the emotions that Friday should evoke, happiness.
Happy.
Yes.
There's no other emotion one should have on a Friday.
No.
But happy.
Unless you're a shift worker, in which case our hearts go out to you.
Maybe you're happy. You're going to be happy.
That is one of my favorite older country songs. Is a song called Shift Work.
Yeah.
It's real close. It's real fun to say on the air. A big old pile of shift work.
I remember the song.
But it calls out the 3 shifts too. 7 to 3, 3 to 11, 11 to 7.
Yep. I was a shift worker my days in the military. I worked mostly midnight.
Kids, this segment's going to be just basically called Back in My Day.
Yeah, exactly. Back in my day. But I remember the mid shift. I worked swings a couple times.
Yeah.
But most of the time I worked mid.
I was mostly mid. I'll tell you, the murder, and this is your wheelhouse, but the murder for me was great.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not so bad, especially if you're kind of like not a people person and kind of introverted. But the problem is there's 1 hour specifically, and it's the 3 a.m. hour.
Yeah.
Up at 2
witching
a.m.
hour.
2 a.m. people are coming off from the bar.
Yeah.
4 a.m. you got people who are starting to kind of go to work and get their morning started. And that 3 o'clock hour is just a nightmare.
I would really hit the wall about 4.
Yeah.
And here's why. Because that was, I'm about halfway through the shift, and I'm starting to get hungry.
Mm-hmm.
The chow hall don't open until 5.
Right.
So I'm like doing that another hour.
Now,
so 4 a.m. was always my worst usually. That was my, come on.
Now, I know you.
Unless I was busy jobbing.
You were a man who kept stock of certain things, certain items. I'm surprised you didn't take work snacks with you.
Well, there wasn't a lot of opportunity to store them.
You got pockets, don't you?
Yeah, but no refrigeration.
That's fair.
And
grab yourself a pack of Twinkies or something. Or like one of them MRE Pop-Tarts.
No offense.
No, none taken.
Leaving unattended food in military shops may not be a smart move on your part.
Sure. Yeah,
even in the midnight hour, there will be some shenanigans that might or might not be pulled on your food. So I'm just I'll wait to the chow hall. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I understand. One
Plus, I was a broke airman, and I didn't really have, I literally ate at the chow hall because that was the money I had. And when I had money for food, it was to buy like the 89-cent burritos at the commissary. I was broke airman. I made $1,000 a month. I had no money. I was broke.
I watched these videos, these shorts called "Long as We Trackin'," and it's a drill sergeant basically with these kids in boot camp. This one, he rolls up and this recruit is sitting in a brand new Dodge Charger, revving the engine or whatever. He's like, "What's the percentage rate on this?" He goes, 23%. I got hooked up. 23%. He said, "No, it's cool. I'm gonna be in the chow hall for the rest of my time."
Yeah. I'm gonna eat a lot of burgers and patty melts and split pea soup from the grill.
I was just there's photos online that are being shared of the food
I've seen some of those.
Oh my God, it's rough. There's one.
Join the Air Force, baby.
Oh boy,
we eat way better.
It was basically half a cup of boiled carrots, a formed patty that I guess was hamburger, and then like a gray slab of what they said was meat.
I'm telling y'all, life in the Air Force, I eat good in the Air Force. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed the chow hall. Our food was good.
You were pretty close to home, close to base. So,
but even when I was deployed, like when I went to Kuwait and ate the chow hall, and Italy and ate the chow hall, food was good there too, man. I ate all kinds of. I gotta be honest, I had to work out because I would have been in Fat Boy program in the military. I had to hit the gym just to stay off the Fat Boy program because I like to eat.
Yeah, I get it. See, but that's also the level that I go to is where I accept if I know that SOS is what's on the menu, I get kind of excited about it.
No. I'm telling you, like for breakfast, omelets, eggs cooked to order,
too shabby,
bacon. Oatmeal, grits, you name it, it's all there. I go for lunch or dinner. Then they'll have usually a couple meal options, some chicken, some meatloaf thing or something. If I don't like any of that, they have the whole grill where you can get hot dogs, hamburgers, patty melts.
So you were in college.
Yeah.
Basically.
Very much.
You were in trade school.
And then they always had like the soup bar and salad bar and the soup. They always had split pea soup. So it went and down split pea soup was for me.
There you go.
I enjoyed the chow hall, man.
I guess based on the college days and those days, I learned the struggle meal. We didn't have access to. Although I will say the cafeteria out at the college. I mean, at least from back in my day, which was 20 years ago, fantastic.
Now here's where my struggling hit was. There was 2 chow halls on the base. One down by the barracks where I lived, and the one on the flight line area by the work area. Well, the one by the barracks, about my 3rd year in, they closed it down for a year for renovation and remodeling. So they upped my basic allowance for substance, my BAS that month, because I couldn't go to that chow hall. I could still go to the one on the flight line, but the problem with that one is it had weird hours, and I worked mids, so I really couldn't hit that one I could hit it for breakfast at work, but sure of that, it wasn't open the other time. So that being said, I got paid more money, but I live in a barracks. I have no kitchen. I have a microwave that I procured. I have a dorm fridge. I have a bathroom sink. So literally, but I can't cook nothing. So I spent that time. That's when I learned about all the burritos
at the coffee maker.
And I lured my wife with tuna helper.
I was just gonna say a man who's efficient enough to make tuna helper in a coffee maker.
I lured my wife. No, it was a microwave. I used the microwave. Yeah, I lured her in. Yeah, I think it was like a tuna lasagna. I don't remember what it was. It was some nasty tuna helper thing. But and I ate a lot of tuna helper at that time because it was. When I get tired of Red Baron pizzas and the Taco John burritos, wherever they were, not Buena Casa, what were they? I think it was like Little Juan or Little
Jose
John.
Ole?
Something. No, it wasn't Jose Ole. I think it was like Little Juan.
Oh, okay.
I think it was Little Juan. Well, they had your traditional flavors, But then they had other flavors like chili dog.
Chili dog, which I was always intrigued by, and I've genuinely been trying to find it.
It literally was a hot dog with chili in it wrapped in a tortilla. That's what it was.
I mean, it is pretty easy. It is pretty easy to replicate, not for nothing.
Doing that one and the steak and potato one, which was unusual for the time.
Yeah.
And it was more like a refried bean with little steak-like things and pieces of potato.
Steak bits.
Yeah, it was it looked like dog chow.
You could tell when somebody's like, this is Steakums, right?
It looked like some kind of hash, actually, in a burrito. But, yeah, I love that stuff. But, yeah.
It always goes back to food.
That's right. Well, again...
Couple of hungry boys.
I had to hit the gym a lot. I spent a lot of time on a stationary bike to keep my butt from getting in the Fat Boy program.
I found one of the MREs that I'd forgotten I got from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So I might the menu doesn't sound too bad. I might actually have it for lunch.
What is it?
Sausage with peppers and onions.
Interesting.
And marinara.
Oh, that's a newer one. I think.
Yeah,
that wasn't around in my day.
Sounds pretty.
What's the accoutrement?
I haven't opened it up to look.
Okay.
They only ever tell you the main.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't know. I guess depends on the years, because some years they'd have meal kit 7, and it'll be like beef stroganoff.
Well, and also
and it'll tell the pilot
you've
biscuits.
done enough meal kits or menu number 7s to be like, oh, okay, that's this one, and that comes with this and this.
Yeah,
the red, white, and blue cookies and all that stuff.
They mostly have, but the only thing that varies is like the fruit bar, crackers, the cheese spread or peanut butter spread. It kind of varies, but yeah,
that's always the surprise for me. It's like it's almost like an unboxing, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, here's a little mystery crate for me. Mystery crate of mid-food.
Yeah. Well, the cheese, I got to be honest, the cheese is not my favorite cheese.
The cheese in the real world it's a tough one to sell. But the cheese, if you're like deployed, that stuff is gold, especially the jalapeno.
Yeah, that's true. I've been deployed eating it, and it is way better than you sitting in your barracks eating it when you're broke. That was the other reason when you're broke. It's like, I guess I go into the MRE stash.
And that's what I was thinking. You used to tell me you have drawers of all these extra snacks.
I did. I had so many things of crackers and peanut butter and cheese
you're
spread.
Sitting there watching TV, eating ration crackers.
Jello. I think they had jelly ones too. I think there was some strawberry and chocolate jelly, or not chocolate, grape jelly pouches too in there. Chiclets. I had so many chiclets.
There's some rumors about them chiclets too, by the way.
I literally threw away 8 pounds of chiclets when I left. It was just a bag of chiclets.
If you're ever feeling blocked up, grab yourself a chiclet.
Yeah. All right. Chavis County Manager Bill Williams going to join us here in a few minutes. Let's do this. It is 8:16. Let's pause for weather. Then we'll take our commercial break, and then Bill Williams will join us on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. A little windy today, especially around Carlsbad and Artesia. Wind gusting to 40 miles an hour. For Roswell, not quite as windy, but still pretty breezy. We'll be getting sunshine across the area. Mid-80s on the afternoon high. Overnight, clear and windy. Low 40s. We're getting upper 60s for the high on Sunday. Following a cold front, it will stay sunny, though. Sunday and 70 on Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Feeling underwater? Van Man and the J Squad at Roswell Nissan are ready to pull you out of the sea of fees and into your next new or pre-owned vehicle. With rates as low as 1.9% and payments as low as $199 a month, plus as little as $1 down on a brand new vehicle. And we're talking rock bottom, under the sea prices. And 100% credit approval is the goal. Drive in now and get more for your trade than anywhere else. The Underwater Trade Payoff Event on now at Roswell Nissan, 2111 West 2nd. Get a built-in look with a Whirlpool flush mount dishwasher that installs flush with the surrounding cabinets at Bush Appliance in Roswell. A third rack provides space for silverware and hard-to-fit utensils. Plus, this dishwasher meets ADA standards for acceptable design. Shop Whirlpool dishwashers today at Bush Appliance in Roswell. Who you gonna call? Bush Appliance. Stop by 111 West Country Club Road in Roswell or call 575-622-6390.
This summer, enjoy outdoor family fun with seamless Wi-Fi, now available from Plateau. Great news, Roswell. Construction on Zone 39 is officially complete. Save on the speed you need with Plateau. Switch today and get reliable, blazing fast speed to stream more, game more, and surf more than ever before. Plus consistent billing and no data caps. And with Plateau, you'll save more too. Call 1-877-PLATEAU or log on to plateautel.com today. Plateau. Tried, true, trusted.
Attention. They've done it again! For 3 years in a row, Roswell Hyundai is the #1 used car supercenter in New Mexico. Whether you're in the market for a large truck, a super high-end luxury vehicle, or an affordable car for first-time buyers, the Roswell Hyundai Used Car Supercenter has one that fits your needs and your budget. So if you're looking for the best deal on your next vehicle, head for the #1 Used Car Supercenter in southeastern New Mexico 3 years straight. Roswell Hyundai, 1909 West 2nd.
Artesia General Hospital presents Spring Wellness Tips for your family. Longer days and warmer temperatures mean more time outside, and that's great for your health. Encourage outdoor play and daily movement to strengthen hearts and build healthy habits early. Protect your family from spring allergies by keeping medications on hand and limit outdoor exposure during peak pollen hours. Remember sunscreen too. Even in spring, UV rays can cause skin damage. And take advantage of the season to schedule wellness visits, vaccinations, and health screenings. A little preparation helps your family enjoy every beautiful spring day. These tips are presented by Artesia General Hospital, ready to help take care of you and your family.
Take me out of my old trade. Take me out of my ride.
Hey Roswell, spring out of your old car, truck, or SUV today and hop into a new Ford or quality pre-owned vehicle with massive savings during the Spring Out Sales event at Roswell Ford. Are you still making payments on your current vehicle and want out early? Your friends at Roswell Ford need your trade today, so we're willing to overpay even if you owe up to $10,000 more than your trade is worth. We'll do whatever it takes to help you escape so you can upgrade to a new Ford or quality pre-owned vehicle. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. Roswell Ford has partnered with more aggressive lenders that will push to approve your credit with great rates and terms, even if it's less than perfect. Lower prices, exceptional trade-in values, and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell. Call 575-623-3673 or online at roswellford.com. Interest accrues from date of sale with approved credit, subject to lender approval. Offers not combined.
The inventor of Pringles is buried in a Pringles can. I wonder if they got their hands stuck putting him in there. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after. Yeah, it was the thing. 21 minutes after 8 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning, Chavez County Manager Bill Williams back with us.
Good morning.
With guest
yes,
this morning.
I found this hobo out.
This guy was stumbling around out here.
I wasn't sleeping in a car. I was just trying to exit the building.
But, of course, Michael Briscoe putting his warden hat on to now back with us here this morning.
I didn't want to miss the opportunity for Mr. Briscoe to talk about Corrections Officer Week and all the things that they're doing to recognize the good job that all of our corrections officers do for our county and others across
First thing
the state,
first is
certainly our county.
We're going to do a switcheroo day, and the county commissioners are going to put on guard uniforms, and then the guards are going to be commissioners for a day. That's part of the week.
As it turns out, last month the county commission went to the jail for our annual visit. We didn't eat this year, but we walked through and we made.
I always want to know if they want to eat because
we made them open doors and all that stuff. So we've all been at the jail.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say that we had any authority, and thank goodness for that because we wouldn't know what we're doing. But yeah, we walked through the jail. Everything looks real good. We saw some painting and stuff like that. We'd like to see kind of done.
Sure.
Minor upkeep,
cosmetic,
stuff. A few years ago. No offense to anybody at the jail now, but we had one corrections officer who was especially engaged in keeping the place spotless and clean.
You had a neat freak on staff.
Yeah, he was really good, Officer Lane, and he put a crew together and he would go around and he kept every door. Every time you push a food cart through the door and bump it, after a few days you've got a scratch there.
Was he in the military, Lane?
I don't know him.
I'm not sure if he was. He acted like he could. I mean,
because he sounds like one of those guys that's on the floor polishing brass with the toothbrush kind of thing. That's a military.
He had the look, and he could very well have been, and I'm not sure. And he still works here in town. He even though he retired from the county, he continues to work.
I bet his job office is nice and clean there too.
But he had a team, and I mean, they kept all those little fine details done, and it has improved considerably since Mr. Briscoe got there, but there's still a few places we want to see him clean up. But as we were walking through, I personally don't like to just be herded a certain direction. I said, "What's behind that door? Let's look. You know, and they do a good job with taking care of the jail.
Sure.
The corrections officer do a wonderful job. The place is clean and neat.
Absolutely.
The temperature's good. The detainees were all seemingly happy, and we actually didn't hit it during the meal time this time.
Yeah.
Often when it's meal time and nobody even looks up, you know.
Sure.
They're
it's
eating, so.
probably a time thing, and they get they get in, get out, quit goofing around, and get you move. You know, the more time they have to goof around, that's when you see the things on Oz and all the shows you watch on TV.
But I was hoping you'd tell them about Corrections Officer Week and all the great stuff your staff does and why we want to honor them.
Absolutely.
Right. So, Correction Officer Week goes way back to the 80s that the president initiated. And really what it's for is it's designed to give thanks to, basically like we were talking earlier, the underdogs of law enforcement. And it's not only a time for our correction officers, but it's time for their families too. So we incorporate their families in.
Well, it's like military or police or law enforcement. If you have a CO, the family's it's a part of that too. It's no different. Yeah.
The families of my correction officers is just as vital to our institution as they are.
Sure.
Because the more they can support that correction officer, the better home life he's going to have. The more engaged when he gets to work, and the better mindset he's going to be in. Which at all levels, it makes it better for everyone, including the inmates too.
Absolutely. And let's face it, we want to make sure that we retain these folks too. We want them to have 20 plus year careers here and retire with us here. And so weeks like this are important for that. Because like you said, we appreciate these folks day in and day out, but to give it a special spotlight on these folks and to say, hey, thank you for being that, what you are and keeping us safe and to be honest, providing a future, because these same individuals, yes, they're there to protect and make sure everything's safe, but how many of these folks have impacted the lives of people that resided there and then now are going on to do better things because of some conversations they had with some of your COs and things. And, like we were talking about earlier, they're part of their lives. A
correction officer is not just there to slam the door. A correction officer is there to be a mentor. He's there to be a savior. He's there to be, an EMT, a mental health provider. He has every role in a split second.
Sure. Absolutely.
So the job they do, it's a tremendous job. And a lot of people don't realize what goes into their profession. So for Correction Officer Week, what we do is we do something every day for a whole week for them. So we do meals, we do gifts, we do just thank yous.
Just kind of shower them up that week. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's for everybody.
Nice.
It's from the rookie cadet all the way up to the major.
Nice.
And everyone in between. So we want to do it as big as possible. And, I'm proud to say that the last few years we've done it big.
Good.
Every officer gets a prize. We do a family day, and every officer gets a prize. We're talking up to $20,000 worth of gifts that we handed out.
That's pretty good.
Their auxiliary has done an exceptional job of reaching out to the community and getting either gifts or
so this is really
gift cards or restaurant.
The communities made this happen. Yeah.
No taxpayer money at all is spent on it.
Well, I appreciate the community stepping up to help and donating and help out. Yeah.
And there's
seeing the need here.
Yes.
Seeing
there's another little thing I want to brag on. You can't have an event and everybody leave the jail. Obviously, that's not going to work.
That is a slight problem to the logistics of things.
Mr. Briscoe and his senior staff, his lieutenants, the major, they make sure that everyone at that jail gets a chance to interact with their family at this event. So whoever's on shift at the jail, once we get the Corrections Officer Appreciation Day kicked off, these guys leave and they go out and they run the jail. They take those posts so that those, like say the rookie officers or whoever is on
you're out there
staff,
serving the meals or doing whatever needs to be doing that particular day.
Party and be appreciated.
That's great.
So I think that shows a lot about leadership, and that's the leading by example. And you being in the military, I'm sure you've seen it both ways, where you have them that lead by example and those that are not good leaders.
And we work as administration. We work for our COs. Our COs don't work for us.
Well, and anytime, like I said, military and anything like that, you respect that. Kind of, we were talking about earlier, but a good leader in these types of situations, most of them, if they'll do it yourself. It's like, whatever it is, clean that latrine. I'm not going to. I'm going to do it. You better do it too. How. Yeah, exactly. That's how you earn respect in those circles. Military, fire, EMS. I'm sure it's exactly the same way.
But Correctional Officer Week is not about the administration. It's about the boots on the ground. It's about our correctional officers and supporting them and giving them the support they need to actually continue doing the job.
And let's face it, some of these men and women are going to be you in a couple of years. Yeah. They're going to be the warden. Mm-hmm. They're going to be the ones. Right. They're going to be your shift supervisors. Yeah. They're going to be the ones that are running the show. When you guys say, "Hey, I'm hanging it up here," but
and when they do, I hope they support their staff the same as they're getting
leading it by example. Exactly. It's setting the seed. You're that's the part of your job that you are setting the seed for the next one, because ideally you're kind of thinking, well, one of these guys are going to be my replacement at some point or another. Right. And that's right. And if they're you do the good job, and you think, well, if I can emulate Michael Briscoe, then guess what? Then I must be doing something right, kind of thing. Yeah. So that's absolutely, and like you said, with the family thing, and it's getting the families get to be a part of this. So what week is that? Next week? When is
It's the first week of May.
Okay.
So our Family Day events that Friday, which is the 8th, I believe.
Okay.
I think it's May the 8th.
Yeah.
Okay.
The 8th. That's actually the day of the big event. But every day we'll be doing something for every shift. So it's not just for day shift. It's every day we're going to do something for days and nights.
Gotcha.
Whether it be meals, treats, prizes.
So even those guys that come in at midnight, they're going to have a little something waiting for them too.
Administration will be there and stuff out.
Ooh, who drew the short straw for those shifts?
No, we work for those officers.
Be like, I can get my lieutenant to cover that shift.
Well, we had a pretty light agenda this month too. We did last month too. Last month was almost tumbleweeds. It seemed like going.
Well, this is kind of where your departments and everything are really finalizing their budgets, kind of putting their proposals together to present to the commission.
A lot is going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
We're all preparing for budget. We're doing our infrastructure plan, our budget, our asset management. We have to inventory every item that's logged at the county. All these things are going on certain times a year, and right now, fortunately, the agendas are not real pressing because we're so busy elsewhere. We're also doing the road hearings.
Sure.
And there's
there it is. There's the 40 cents I was talking about.
Into that. But we started off with some proclamations yesterday. We did the annual character counts, and Amy Tejas came and accepted that on behalf of them. And
this is their counts month and week, and they do all the honoring the teachers and honoring the badge. And
it's really a great organization, and we're really proud to provide a proclamation for that every year. That's simple and again, kind of like the corrections officer, it's an easy way to show appreciation.
Sure.
We also did a proclamation for Correction Officers Week and made sure that we recognized them. And when I wrote that proclamation a couple of years ago, I always researched, to find out what to put in a proclamation, get all the background. Well, that's when I found Ronald Reagan did this the first time in 1984 and talked about how corrections officers are the de facto behavioral health, mentor, all these different things.
Line in the sand, really. Yeah.
And so that made it pretty easy to write that proclamation because I did a few opening lines and said, but I couldn't say it better than Ronald Reagan did. And then you read Ronald Reagan, then you say, therefore, the county agrees, ditto.
Well, the only rule is you need to read it as Ronald in the meeting. Well,
I was telling Nancy. So, and I'm sorry, but we probably just made a bunch of the younger folks that follow you on the radio say, what are they talking about?
They don't get the joke.
Not a lot of us that remember
Ronald
Reagan anymore.
Get on your Google machine and look it up. They'll tell you.
Yeah, your Google machine. I like it. And then, let's see, we had a proclamation for motorcycle awareness, motorcycle safety.
Sure.
We do that annually.
It's not them sitting out going, yep, there's one.
There's a group of people that request that we remind people every year to watch out for motorcycles.
Well, and as the weather gets nicer, and let's face it, we got a beautiful, the mountains and everything. This is prime, biker country, man. If you're a bike lover, this is some great country to do that riding in. That being said, the traffic's increasing at the weather, and you know as well as I do, everybody on a bike from Texas is going to Rio Doso, and it's all over the place.
Well,
and they weave in and out, and you got to, bikers need to be responsible, but we, the public, need to also look out for them, too. That's the rub. Bikers should be weaving out, doing the things they do to make drivers nervous, but at the same time, give that bike the same spacing and respect as you would a car, an 18-wheeler, or any other vehicle.
Right, and be considerate of the fact, the way a motorcycle works versus the way a car works, they might hit an oily patch, and you might need to give them a few extra feet just to be sure.
Absolutely.
Because they're not always horsing around, They're just like people in vehicles. You see people in pickups and stuff. You said someone just crashed through your fence this week.
Just because cars are idiots too.
But, but certainly we have a lot of need to watch out for our neighbors, and it's just being a good neighbor, I think.
And that being said, too, I know that New Mexico, they don't have but if you're on a motorcycle, wear a helmet, man. I mean, come on. This is smart.
Yeah.
I know that the law you're allowed to not wear one here, but I guarantee if you go down hard on that bike, you have zero chance without the helmet. At least you got a shot with the helmet. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Anyway, that was my 2 cents on that one.
I agree, and I'm one of those. I haven't ridden a motorcycle in 25 years probably, but I was one of those people that I don't really want to wear the helmet. I want to just go fly. And of course, I used to race cars and do all that stuff on the track.
Sure.
I never raced off the track, of course,
but yeah,
you want to do things differently, but it's wise to.
We all did dumb stuff. I know half of us are like, how did I live to be 30 sometimes?
Exactly. Yeah.
And then you hit 40, 50, and you're like, what am I?
Yeah.
Don't be an idiot. Don't be like me.
Yeah, my elbow's hurting today.
Yeah.
Come to think of it.
Yep.
We had one other proclamation that was a real honor to do, and that was for Madison Dixon. She passed away towards the end of last year. She was in a horrible traffic accident over in Texas, and but we recognized her because she was an organ donor. The organs from an organ donor, the eyes, the tissue, all that stuff. So she was
they went directly to some life saving that night or day. Yeah.
Approximately 70, 75 people.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
This is a tragedy, but I would never have thought that many people could benefit from one tragedy. Like that's actually a blessing.
And her family asked that we align that recognition of her donation with Donation Week.
I hope that's oddly healing for her family.
Yeah,
the thought that
it was a wonderful
70
turnout.
people are going to live on through your daughter.
Yeah, it was a wonderful turnout.
It's a nice tribute.
Commissioner Perry, of course, was a personal friend of hers, and so he read the proclamation. It was touching. So anyway, we were glad to see that, and glad to honor one of our local people in a tragedy, but she lives on through the
that is a
things she
huge
did.
tragedy, but man, I mean, if you're going to put a happy ending on it, I feel like that's about the best outcome you can have, because as a parent, that would comfort me knowing that my daughter's spirit living on in the lives of 70 other people.
That's cool.
That helps me.
It's
that
the
would
greatest
be
gift you can give somebody.
That's it. That's a healing moment. That's how you get through that.
So we started off, like say, on a high note. I mean, sure, it was touching, but it was nice to be able to recognize and honor her and the other proclamations we had. We had 2 public hearings yesterday. The first one was to update our building code ordinance number 60 is what it is. So mostly some minor changes, identifying the fire protection portion that wasn't specified in there, some other language changes, nothing controversial or monumental or anything. It went right through.
Minutia that has to be done.
Yeah, some minor changes to the fee structure, of course. So that went pretty easy. And as a public hearing, people have the opportunity to speak for or against the changes. And of course, there was no one that said anything. The second one, and we've talked about this many times over the years, is the annual road hearing. It's the opportunity for the public to come in and say, I think it's a good idea or I think it's a bad idea to do what the public has requested on this particular road.
Make that road either for the county to take it over or the county to abandon that road.
And I believe there's only 4 roads this year.
Okay.
We have, as we've talked before, we've got, of course, private roads in the county. We've got non-county maintained roads. We've got county maintained roads. And then, of course, there's state roads and federal roads and all that throughout our county. But during road hearing time, people have the opportunity to say, I would like you to vacate this road. This road only goes to my house. And
Correct.
I don't
Doesn't
think the
serve
county
the
should be
community,
maintaining it. I don't like people driving up and down it.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first thing we do is once the applications are taken is we put together a board of freeholders. We have 3 people that are not associated with the roads in any way, and they go out and look at the roads and the request. So if someone says, I would like to vacate this road, they look at it and say, but this takes care of 15 houses.
Right.
We can't do that. Or this is the only access to public lands, or this is a farm to market road. You know, there are several criteria.
See the big picture here and determine is it truly
say
the case? Yeah.
Yes or no
Mhm.
to move forward with that. The others are someone has a private road and they would like it to be a county maintained road.
Sure.
So they go and look at it and say, yes, I could see this would be beneficial.
Look, our whole
because
neighborhood benefits from this, or our whole community does.
Right.
Yeah, it's not just me.
But we also have to stipulate, but the people that are bringing the road forward have to bring it up to county standards.
Right.
We won't take a 2-track road winding in and out between mesquites and through the salt
This ain't a
cedars.
chance to get your road fixed. It's like, oh yeah, I got this pothole dirt. No. You got to bring it up to county standards.
You've got to have some ownership in the process.
Once it's up to county standards, you take it over.
So if it's a private road, they actually have to deed the right of way to get a 60-foot wide road in there.
Gotcha.
And we realize that the general public is not in the road business, so they're not going to know how to build a superhighway or anything. But we want some semblance of a road.
Sure.
Someone's got to go through there and blade it, put some bar ditches in it, a little crown on the road, the appropriate topping on the road. And if it's 50 miles out in the middle of nowhere, an appropriate topping on that road might be a caliche finish.
Sure.
But if it's a close-in road, it probably needs to have base course because
Gotcha.
it's in a neighborhood and used more.
Something that has more to
and-
contain heavier traffic.
The other thing, too, is when the county takes over a road, generally, if it's near town, we don't need the road graders coming from 50 miles outside of town where they're blading, dozens of roads that are 40 miles long to come into town to blade a quarter-mile strip. And we have a few of those, but not very many. Over the last several years, we've gone to great lengths to make sure that those roads are paved. So if someone in town has a quarter-mile long road and they bring it up to county standards, chances are pretty darn good within the next 2 years we're going to chip seal that road because it's a better use of our resources to keep that blade out in the county doing those big miles of road
Sure.
because it's awfully hard to keep up out there, and especially if they have to
Not to
drive that
mention the
thing all the
logistics
way to town.
and the cost involved in that. Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Just
yeah.
for
time and fuel and
yeah.
a quarter-mile road can take them, an hour.
Yeah.
And then they've got to go back.
Sure. Makes sense.
So we try to do that. The other
Work
thing
smarter, not harder.
is we also have non-county maintained roads that the county has the right of way, but they are not maintaining them. And often that comes through a plat. The alleys and streets are dedicated to the use and the benefit of the public. Sometimes they'll say that whoever's developing that subdivision has to bring the roads up to standards. Other times they will accept them as is, but we won't take over the maintenance of them until such time as they're brought up to county standards.
Gotcha.
That's why we have non-county maintained roads. So we already have the right of way, but we're not going in there maintaining them on a regular basis. But if
Not
the
until
neighbors
someone
come
else-
forward and say, hey, this neighborhood has, this subdivision is filled up now, and we've got 20 families out here, but no one maintains the road, then we go back and say, okay, the person who subdivided it didn't bring it up to standards. If you guys bring it up to standards, you don't have to give us any property because we have already got the property. Bring it up to those general county standards, and the county will take it over.
Cover.
So those are things that we do during
Sure.
the county road hearings.
And then, like you said, some years it's pretty garden variety, and other years it gets a little exciting. So.
Yeah,
just depending on
this
which
year,
roads
I believe
it is.
Alex has 4 roads. They're all pretty simple,
Okay.
straightforward. Don't expect anything. The commissioners are planning to go out on the 22nd. The commissioners themselves,
They hit every road.
they
That's
go
under
to
question.
every road. And like I say, this year it'll only be
That's
4.
when you find out how big Chaves County really is. You
One-
get out that Boot Heel area, it's like, we're still in Chaves County.
1 year when we were doing the road hearings, we had a road all the way by the rest area by Mesa, way out there. We had 4 or 5 over on the Cap Rock up on the top there, where all the windmills are now. We had some down in the Boot Heel, and we had several throughout the main portion of the.
So they got some frequent flyer miles that week, that day.
I don't remember how many miles it was we traveled that day, but it was in the hundreds.
Yeah.
Just to get to all those roads, but we made it. So anyway, we kind of look forward to doing that every year. Once the freeholders give their report, Then we have this public hearing where the public can say what they need to say. And then the county commissioners, they don't just take everybody else's word. They go out and they physically look at each one of these roads, talk to the owners if they're there. Or
get their own
neighbors.
perspectives on it, yeah.
And then they'll come back next month and make the
official
decision. Yeah.
Yep.
And then if it's a road that we're taking over, they've got 6 months to bring it up to standard. So if they say, yeah, we'll take XYZ road, come back in December, and that's when they're going to say, we went out, we gave them adequate time to fix it up, and yes, they fixed it up. And
they
so
met the requirements.
now it goes immediately on the roadmap. So we did that. We had some other basic stuff, intergovernmental agreement for change order on our public health department building there. We're working with the New Mexico Department of Health on the IT portion of the building. The building is nearly complete.
Okay.
If you haven't been there, it's the 1600 block of South Garden. It looks wonderful. It's really coming along. The Department of Health came and toured it the other day, and they're just blown away by how nice of a building they got. But the reason it's a nice building, the reason they see it works, is because we got with them when we first decided that was going to be a priority, and we received some funding. We brought them in and said, you tell us what you need for a new building.
Customize it to their needs.
We don't want to build a building and say, well, you're going to have to make this work, because that's kind of the situation they're in now. The building that they're in no longer works.
That's not an improvement
efficiently, you know. And so we allowed them to help us design the building, and
good deal.
And of course, the IT portion of it, they have to keep their medical records straight and all that, so they have to control that. And so,
and I imagine there's some levels of security involved in that because of the personal information involved.
So we had an agreement with them that they would put in the IT portion of it, and so anyway, that was kind of what our agreement was, and the change order had to do with the stuff that the state's going to need on that.
Makes sense.
Again, some of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, I talked about the asset management of the county. So we inventory. Every item doesn't get inventoried, obviously. If it's consumable items, like welding rod, obviously you don't track that.
Right.
But the welder itself, it has a number on it.
Yeah.
And every year we go in and make sure that welder's still there, or if it quit working, we need to put it up for auction, all that kind of thing.
You know where it's at, or where it's you can track it down and know where its whereabouts are.
The county has a great accountability process for the assets. And just in my portion of it for the detention center, it's almost overwhelming.
I can imagine
the stuff we keep accountability of.
Sure, yeah.
So,
and
kudos to Chaves County for that.
And Lucia in the finance department, the whole finance department actually, but Lucia's in charge of it. She makes sure that we do it. She won't take no for an answer. She makes sure things get done. And she's also the one that does deletion of property and proposed.
I'm very thankful we have those people that are attention to detail oriented people. I'm not one of them, and I appreciate them.
Not only that, but kudos to her because she has a great checks and balances too. So after I submit it saying, okay, here's everything that's counted for, she brings that list back and says, all right, well then show me this. Like she takes a percentage of everything we did.
She does an audit
and does an audit on it.
Okay,
and it's a great checks and balances.
Nice.
To make sure.
And the other thing too is, well, this is broken. So do you want to get rid of it? Okay, here's the appropriate sheet to fill out. Make sure it's filled out properly, and I'll get it on this disposition.
That way we
list,
can get it off the inventory,
or even if it gets moved from office to office. Like, well, on here it says it's in your office, and now it's in his. We got to make that change.
Sure.
Like, yep. They do a really good job.
Sure.
Finance is awesome.
And that's why we have 11 audit excellence awards in Chaves County. No audit findings again this year. I mean, they are an excellent department. All of our departments interact and work well together, but the finance department.
And this kind of goes back into that, like you always say, is you want to be good stewards of the taxpayer money.
Right.
And this is how we ensure that we're not wasting money on things or there's abuse going on.
Right.
Unfortunately, some people take supplies home from the office and things like that. And toilet paper, one thing, but when you start taking welders or start taking,
well, that stuff can happen.
Yeah, that big
I'm
stuff.
sure we've all worked at a place where you saw somebody.
Absolutely.
Whoa, what are you doing?
Yeah, and so to have a system that tracks that and finds those anomalies quickly
holds
is good.
People accountable. The department head, if he's got major problems, it's on him.
Sure.
This guy might have been the one that carried something out the back
But if there's
door.
a rash of that, then it's on you to correct that or fix
that's
that,
why we do that. That's why we find out, and it works really well.
Sure.
And I agree, it's a great system.
And to be honest, that probably hardly ever happens. I'm just saying, but this is why these things are in place, just to prevent those kinds of things.
But if there wasn't a checks and balance, it would probably happen more frequently. But since they've implemented
when the mice, the cat's away, the mice play. That's just life.
Yep, that's a fact.
Yeah.
We also adopted and updated our Chaves County ADA grievance policy. And we've
So if
already
you have a grievance, how do
we already have an Americans with Disability Act grievance policy for buildings or whatever. If
they don't meet these compliance deals,
someone's having an issue getting in a building, they let us know and we address that. We have that policy. But we didn't have it in our personnel policy. So if Michael Briscoe decides that he needs an accommodation because of a disability of some sort, and we're not addressing that, then this is the process we go through.
Got it.
And
Okay.
it mirrors the one for the public, but it was just one of those clerical things that we spelled out.
Sure.
It says, hey, we don't have this in policy, how to deal with it in-house, and so we do. And Joseph Kobos is our new safety guy. He's been there 2 years probably, or he's on his second,
Sure.
I'd say, but he has really done a good job with the safety programs at the county.
And he kind of spotted the anomaly, and so we need to rectify it.
Yeah,
basically.
and I was the ADA coordinator when we had a Department of Justice audit, and we had to fix a lot of things. And I was the ADA coordinator, and it's required by law that you designate who that coordinator is. After I changed jobs, Mac was the coordinator, and I'm not sure that Mac wasn't still the coordinator. So this also had us take a look at all of our documents and make sure that everything was up to date and compliant with what's required by the Department of Justice.
Makes sense.
So we've done that. We did an invitation to bid and bid tabulation on road materials and services. So the oil and the rock that we put on the chip sealed roads, every year we have to go out for bids, and we had 4 bidders, I think. And usually the way that works, it's not, okay, Dave gets the bid because he's the cheapest on everything, because there's a lot of variation in that. So the way it works usually is this particular commodity, Dave is the cheapest on. This particular commodity, Susan's the cheapest on. This particular commodity, Mike is the best on. And so we kind of divide it up based on who
So you
can
may use them
provide
all
that.
just
We
for
may use
one slice of the service, basically.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's pretty much how it generally goes. Not always, but that's generally how it goes with the road construction stuff, because there is quite a bit of difference there in bids.
Sure.
And so we're able to maximize the amounts that we get, and again, be good stewards of the taxpayers' money. We try to make that dollar go as far as we can. So
Well, it's no different than like you going, well, I get my meat over at this store because it's cheaper than, and I buy my veggies over here because they're cheaper or better quality or whatever it is your reasoning is. And it's no different. County does the same thing. Yeah. Good deal. Makes sense.
And I know we're probably running out of time.
We got about 5 minutes here
before
we're in danger zone.
Getting ready to launch into some other fun stuff.
All right.
So as I talked a minute ago, our health department is nearing completion. We're not too far off from it being completed. That's going to be a great thing for our community. Of course, we'll have a grand opening, ribbon cutting, whatever we call it. That'll be coming up soon. The Cultural Plaza. That's right downtown where everybody's been seeing it. We have a tremendous amount of interest in using the Cultural Plaza.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people are ready to start wanting to do stuff out there and get her going.
It looks real good. It's got a nice stage. The stage is designed so that in the afternoon when the sun's going down, the band's not baking.
I'm excited to see it in action when our events and county and city events happen and things like that. It'll be nice to see that being used.
We've had a whole lot of interest. In fact, I have to have a meeting with 3 entities sometime next week because they all have things going on the same weekend, and I think that
this is the good problem to have. Is there's so much demand for the property that now we got to we got to get a little creative on how we do
wonderful.
this. Yeah,
all of these entities can make each other's
absolutely
event be better than it was.
Sure,
because now I'm not just drawing with what interests my people, but your people are going to learn about what we're doing, and we're going to have a lot of interaction.
And the way the park's laid out, you can control, have a funnel gate, so you can create a gated thing if you're trying to charge for an event or something like that and want to control. That facility has all that. So it's going to be amazing.
You bring up a good point about charging for events. So the way the county works is the properties, we don't charge anything for anyone to use the courthouse lawn.
Sure.
Because the taxpayers paid for that. And so we allow the general public to use that, not for everybody's birthday or whatever, but it has to be a public event that benefits.
But say a concert or something
benefits
happens
the general public.
Yeah, and their promoters come in.
And because that courthouse lawn, the Cultural Plaza is paid for with taxpayer money, we don't feel it's proper for us to charge anyone. Although we are reworking our policy and procedure. We allow people to use the courthouse lawn, for instance, as long as they sign up for it and they provide insurance for the
event or whatever they're having. Yeah.
You know, you can't just come out and decide Saturday morning we're going to have an event on the courthouse lawn, because that's not the way it works. Now, if it's not being used, all you have to do is come down, fill out all the paperwork, show us your insurance, which is pretty nominal, really, for an event like that.
Sure.
It doesn't cost, because you're only a few hours.
You
you're
price
asking
them
for coverage
100, 200, depending on the event.
and the
what you're
likelihood
doing,
of anything happening is pretty slim. So insurance isn't expensive. You know, public sidewalk out front is one thing, but the actual county property is a little different.
Yeah.
And so we're writing our policy on that. We'll bring that next month. We were going to do it this month, and we don't actually have it. And the reason it's a little different for the cultural plaza is because we have the bathrooms.
Gotcha.
And so the county's going to provide, paper towels and toilet paper at the beginning of the event. If you run out, we're going to provide a reasonable amount. If you run out, it's up to you to do that.
Sure.
But it's also up to you to clean the bathrooms when you leave.
Right.
And we're going to incur some cost as well, because
now, are those restrooms open only when there's things going on at the
when
plaza?
there's an event.
Okay,
that's why we want to make sure that whoever utilizes the plaza,
they're responsible for maintenance and tidiness and being a good steward of the bathroom. Don't let people dog the bathroom.
And so there'll probably be a small, I hate to call it a deposit, but if you clean the bathrooms up,
it's like a pet fee, but we'll call it a poop fee. I don't know what you call it.
There you go. So anyway, we're working out those details, because this particular event space is a little bit different than just using the courthouse lawn. So we're doing it. But the main thing is people will still be able to utilize it for free, as long as it's an event that benefits the public.
Sure.
If Miss Minnie's or the dance studio wants to have the ballet recital on the stage, it'll be great.
And they'll be able to, like, businesses and entities have like their picnic license and want to do their food and whatever's out there, that's no problem. As long as they're licensed and permitted and everything else.
I've been thinking about events that could happen there, and every event's not going to be better suited at the Cultural Plaza. Some of them would be better on the courthouse lawn, some will be better suited on the plaza. And as people kind of get used to it, I think it's going to really benefit the community.
Well, I mean,
but one of the things that I've brought up that maybe could happen is, they always close 5th Street for the Christmas trees.
Yeah, maybe we do it out there.
And the tents, have to go up. Maybe that's a good location. Maybe not. But I'm just throwing it out.
Well, I imagine certainly UFO Festival, the concerts and things, you can move that, at least some of that out to the
UFO Festival.
To the plaza.
Very interested in it. Pinata Fest.
Sure. Cinco de Mayo or whatever, if we do anything like that.
Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, if we bring that back.
We're close to being complete. It's supposed to be complete by the end of the month. I will not bet you a nickel that it will be, but it's close. It's right there. I mean, it could go either way. So
the summer farmers market, I think that would be a good home eventually for that too. At some point,
I think it could be. But the entities will kind of have to decide what's going to work best for their stuff, and we're working towards that. But there are a few minor things that are different with the Cultural Plaza than just the courthouse lawn. Like I say, it'll still just come down and sign up for it. Somebody else didn't get it first. You'll be able to get it, and you provide the insurance just like you do for the courthouse lawn. And everything's copacetic.
And really, this is because ideally this plaza has the amenities. Like if you need power, water, you need all the sources for event. It's all where the courthouse lawn's not really capable or equipped to do that.
And the
kind
Jazz
of stuff.
Festival, they've already reached out because they've for years done it on the courthouse steps, and there are big trees there which help keep the sun off of you. But my wife has sung on the courthouse steps many times, and that's not always a great spot. Of course, the Cultural Plaza, currently, all the landscaping is new, so as it grows, it's going to be better. But for now, it may be a little warm, too. But,
so water the trees.
But they're looking at the fact that the Jazz Festival will actually have a large stage. They can get everybody up there without being on the courthouse steps. It's not as convenient.
The trumpet player don't have to sit on the sax player's lap anymore.
Well, and the other thing, too, is the power. We have to make arrangements to turn the power on so they can power a small amplifier in the front at the courthouse steps. There's only a couple of plugs there, and those are off because we can't have people plugging in heaters or whatever out there.
And I've been in this building a long time, and I know all the time when we have UFO Fest, there seems to be one day where power goes out down here every single time. So I imagine you guys kind of had to do something over there special on that, because when you get that many people downtown, it does suck the grid down. I don't care what anybody says. It does. Well, it puts a tax on it.
And it's really great that we're going to have the downtown bathrooms take the pressure off the local businesses. We want to enhance everybody's business and their bottom line. They want them to make a nice profit during any events, but at the same time, we don't want them having to watch people come and go all day long just to use the bathroom. So we've got those downtown bathrooms. It'll be real nice for all those sorts of events. The other thing that's wrapping up pretty quick is the Pecos Valley Regional Communication Center. So our dispatch that we do jointly with the city and the county go together. So.
Yeah. Well, that's something we've been excited for a long time, and those folks do a lot. And to get them to get their facility upgraded and more suiting to what they do and their needs, because right now, literally, I've seen them. You walk into the county building and they're kind of in that little dark bubble there, and you're watching them from the inside, and they do a great job. But that facility is not enough to meet the neads of what they need.
Well, it's grown exponentially over the years. That's over 20 years old now.
Yeah.
We put them there. And it was fine at the time, but law enforcement has required more. There's a lot more complexities to it. And we also need to keep them safe and secure. And the new location definitely keeps them off the beaten path.
Yeah, and they got to say state-of-the-art because let's face it, rural places, hard to get to talking to people, and they have to do it. So thank you, guys. I just saw the time. You listen to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico, News in Progress.
Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Oil prices are falling and stock prices on the rise. In fact, the Dow's up more than 1,000 points. This after President Trump and the Iranian foreign minister took to social media this morning, making separate announcements that the Strait of Hormuz is fully reopened to commercial shipping. The president says that Iran, with the help of the U.S., is now working on removing any remaining mines from the strategic waterway. President Trump says Israel has been prohibited from further strikes on Lebanon, saying enough is enough in the Israel-Hezbollah war. Mr. Trump's invited the leaders of Israel and Lebanon to the White House.
After announcing a 10-day ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah militants in Lebanon, the president invited the Israeli and Lebanese leaders to Washington for what he said would be their first meaningful talks since 1983.
Lebanon will be meeting with Israel, and they're probably going to do it at the White House.
Israel and Lebanon have technically been at war since Israel was established in 1948. Greg Clugston, Washington.
As far as the Iran conflict is concerned, President Trump describes things as going swimmingly, and he says he thinks that the war could be over pretty soon. The Artemis 2 astronauts, they're recounting their recent 10-day mission to the moon.
Commander Reed Weissman says the crew is still trying to decompress.
It's very hard to fully grasp what we just went through.
He says on the ride back to Earth, the heat shield held up. Pilot Victor Glover enjoyed the release of parachutes before splashdown.
If you dove off a skyscraper backwards, that's what it felt like.
Astronaut Christina Cook says she's not a person who likes attention, but realized this trip around the moon produced a lot.
We've done this together. We took your hearts with us, and your hearts lifted our hearts.
NASA is already working on Artemis 3 for next year. I'm Ed Donahue.
You're not just overweight, you're in survival mode. No pill or crash diet's going to...
But where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
Concerned, they're worried about the potential for widespread fraud.
Mythos has been developed by Anthropic, the company best known for the Claude model. Governments and banks are being offered access to Mythos in advance to help protect their own systems. Canada's Finance Minister, Philippe Francois Champagne, told the BBC it has been discussed at the G7 meeting. The Bank of England Governor, Andrew Bailey, also told the BBC the model had to be taken very seriously because of the risk of cyber criminals exploiting it. The US Treasury confirmed it had raised the issue with its banks to ready their systems before any public release of Mythos by Anthropic.
The BBC's Faisal Islam. Leaders of France and the UK have been holding an international summit. They're trying to advance efforts to keep the Strait of Hormuz open and secure its future. A coalition does not include participation by the United States. News and analysis, townhall.com. Another vehicle recall, this time involving some Ford trucks.
Ford is recalling almost 1.4 million of its F-150 pickup trucks in the U.S. because of a gear shift issue that may lead to drivers losing control of their vehicles and increase the risk of a crash. The recall includes F-150 light trucks with a 6-speed automatic transmission that were produced between March 12, 2014 and August 18, 2017. Vehicle owners will be notified about the recall by mail and instructed to bring their vehicle to a Ford or Lincoln dealer to have their power control module calibration updated at no cost. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Recapping the hour's lead story, President Trump and Iran's foreign minister have announced a full reopening to commercial shipping of the Strait of Hormuz. It sent stocks higher. The Dow is up more than 1,000 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
Get away. Good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Crazy dearness.
Sometimes you just need to see the show that's not on the show to get the show.
You know what we need to do? We need to set up a Patreon.
Yeah.
And like have the Patreon just have the camera just on when we're not.
Yeah.
So they pick up all the other stuff. Yeah.
That might get me in trouble.
I know. We're going to have to step it up for views, man. We might have to start having like shirtless Tuesdays.
For the gram.
You know, for the ladies.
Yeah.
Gun Show Wednesday.
Yep. I don't think it's going to have the positivity effect we know. Oh,
but I'll tell you this, my OnlyHams page is really taking off. Every week I showcase another ham, a beautiful Smithfield suckling spiral cut honey roasted ham, and something festive for the holidays. All the little cloves on top.
Tune in next week. It's Country Ham Week.
Right. Hey, I'll tell you what.
Country ham.
The ham bone, a couple of cloves of garlic, got yourself a stew going.
Yeah. You ever had country ham?
Oh yeah.
Like because that's the one you don't need to refrigerate.
Right.
That's the hanging. It's good. It's saltier than a dog.
Okay.
Though. It's a salty meat.
The fancy comparison version of that, and I've, as weird as it is that most of the stuff that I've been like purchasing lately has been like, okay, get up and go.
Yeah.
I do kind of want to get a jamon iberico.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
They sell them. I think I've seen it at Sam's once, like around the holidays. And it comes with a display. It looks like
is that the one where you got like the sword? It's got the stand, and you got to use
yes, you're displaying it like a bat, and you take the sword.
You can get that in town here.
Well, I think around the holidays I saw one at Sam's.
What does one go for? Like $300, $400, $500? I have no idea. They look expensive as all get out.
It's up there. I mean, I've heard upwards of 12 for some. I mean, it's.
Ooh, I was lowballing it.
Yeah. No, it's let me hit the Google because Hamon prices vary.
Yeah.
We're in the varied market.
And my question is, are you literally just supposed to nosh on it like off the sword? Or are you supposed to? Because every time I see it, it's literally just someone, they cut a piece and they eat it like hand food or finger food.
Like that, or for like. Yeah,
is that how people are supposed to eat it? Just literally walk up to this thing and cut a hock off with that sword and then go?
Like charcuterie stuff. Think of it like the big blocks of cheese that used to be at Cattle Bear. It's like that,
I just see that much meat. It should be a meal.
You can do with it what you want. So like right here, at this bespoke post, it's $12.50. From this place, this one place, it's $882. Now the thing is with the ham, they're traditionally like only fed like walnuts and like truffles and stuff like they only eat like really fancy.
So this is
foods.
like Wagyu pork.
Basically, yeah, it's like the best of the best. And people say it's the same thing. They say it's mostly just very, very salty.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. But it is it's world renowned.
So is it
Spanish cured? Okay.
So is that not
that's what it is.
Require refrigeration either?
No, it does not.
Okay.
It's because it's covered in that marbled fat.
Yeah, the way they smoke it. Yeah.
It comes from a pig with a diet of acorns and a long curing process. So they eat acorns. Yeah, it's nuts. Traditionally served paper thin slices to allow the fat to melt on the tongue, which paired with like a wine or something. So yeah, you're really meant to eat it alone by itself. You could eat it in like a cracker and cheese form if you want to have like
I'll take a regular old smoked ham, whatever you get at the Smiths or whatever you get at the store there. I'm down with it. The Smithfield or whatever it is.
I just like the fact, and it's funny how it's really taken off. And I'm just as guilty as the next person because I've gone to charcuterie parties. I bought both my sister a charcuterie board and my friend a charcuterie set. So I'm very much on board with it. But it really is just adult Lunchables.
It is.
We're just trying to recreate the feeling we had, pulling back that plastic and putting that little slice of American cheese and that little piece of slimy ham on top of that Ritz cracker.
Well, and I remember, because which
you can totally still do, by the way.
Yeah. There was a time, I think the time has passed, but a couple years ago, there was a time when the gift to give people when you didn't really know a thing about them was a charcuterie board.
Absolutely.
And I'm not going to lie, I have at least 3 or 4 custom charcuterie boards with like my name on it, assistant names or family names and whatever. It's got like there's like a Mike and Kim one and our wedding date that someone gave us. I have like 4 charcuterie and they're all nice. I have never cut up that much cheese and meat to satisfy. And so
you got to start hosting more parties, man. you guys really are set up for service.
I don't like people. That's my problem.
Right. I get that.
I got 3 people I want to hang out with.
Set up little kitty charcuterie boards.
Yeah,
kitty cuts.
There you go.
They love chicken.
But we have a collection of charcuterie boards. I got at least 3 in their house.
Speaking of the trying to recreate childhood, I saw something the other day that immediately I was like, whoa! I got like childhood like flashback feels. It was just a picture of handy snacks.
Oh yeah, that remember the handy snacks.
But the way they used to, because they have them now, but the way they used to be with the long club crackers, the little tub of cheese, and that red stick.
Yeah,
that was the thing. Was the red stick? It was just hanging out on top. And I was just like, oh, that hit the feels.
I'll never forget the first time I had one. I was confused because I thought the red stick was like the stick that came with the powder candy that was edible, and it was not.
It was not edible. And the crappy thing is, I got through 3 sticks before I finally figured it out.
Right.
These are terrible.
Next morning was interesting.
Son? You want to talk?
It's got cheese on it. Sorry.
That stick? That's an indicator food.
Yeah. Like I still never like when you have those sense memories. For me, it's Cracker Jacks.
Yeah.
Like when I see the box of Cracker Jacks, not the bag, but the
Right.
old school box.
The long, thin.
All I can think of is like in the back of my mom and her friend's car.
Mhm.
Like I'd be sitting back there. We're going to something.
Right.
And I'm always in the back by myself with my little thing of Cracker Jacks. And you know what? Even then, they screwed you. They'd only give you like one
Two
little
peanuts
peanut
if you were lucky.
Yeah, and then this rest is the
And I was going to say, that's my example of shrinkflation, is you were
Yeah.
back there enjoying your peanut-filled Cracker Jacks. Now,
Yeah.
in my generation, we got one nut and a
Well, even
and a
back
fake.
then, it was skinny on the nuts. Like I got to be honest.
Yeah.
When Fiddle Faddle and
Yeah.
Crunch and Munch came out, it kind of outed Cracker Jacks
They really
a little
did.
bit.
They're like, we don't mess around with your Cracker Jack nonsense. Fiddle Faddle's the game.
But where Cracker Jacks beat everybody was the prize, man. Especially back in those days where like the A prize was the lickable
Honus-
tattoo.
Well, do you remember that they used to give? They had at one point the replica, obviously, baseball cards.
Oh yeah.
But there was a Honus Wagner Cracker Jack baseball card that's to this day worth like $20,000.
Nice. But as a kid, that was the ultimate score. We got the lickable tattoos.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And there'd be like 2 or 3
Well,
those tattoos, the temporary
That
tattoos.
was that was fruit stripe gum for us.
Yeah.
Because the pack always had the tattoos on the thing.
Yeah. And that was the worst gum ever.
It was the best gum ever for the first 5 seconds.
Right. That's literally, it was like, but it was a popular because it was a cool wrapper.
It was a cool wrapper.
You know, you
They
had all
a-
the colors
They
and
had
everything.
a great commercial.
And you were hoping that you get the one flavor you liked.
Mhm.
And they all taste the same, to be honest. And
No, they
to me, they did.
I would
for the
say
3 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But for those 3 seconds, it was magic because Fruit Stripe really did nail the separate flavors.
Yeah.
Like it was like when like Skittles came along and kind
Yeah.
of outed generic jelly beans. It's
Right.
like, well, we're gonna put flavor in our stuff.
Yeah, problem was Lifesavers already had them beat.
Mhm.
If you wanted that at the end of the day, if you wanted because to me, I'd rather have the roll of the multicolored fruit Lifesavers than the
Well, and then
fruity gum.
there was
Stripes.
this was a big thing for us when I was a kid was that the wintergreen.
Mm-hmm.
If you went into the bathroom in the dark,
the spark?
and you bit into it, it would
Yeah.
spark. We used to.
I remember doing that.
Well,
yeah.
no, there was a combo.
I remember
of that.
trying to do
There
it.
was a combo of that because one time, this is the girl who later became the mother of my children.
Yeah.
Okay, we were talking about the whole Lifesaver thing, and she's like, "Go ahead, try it." And her and my buddy Eric at the time were in cahoots. So he was like, "Yeah, go ahead and try it." So I went to the bathroom, turned the lights off, and I bit down in the spark. And she springs out of the bath, the shower, like pulls the curtain back. I about had a heart attack. I almost punched a woman in the face that day. We were in high school. Let me, in fairness,
all over some Retsin.
Yeah, all over some Retsin. Yeah, but I saw the spark in the Lifesaver and almost murdered somebody that day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, good times.
Good times with Retsin.
That's right. All right, let me give you a rundown for the hour of the show here. We'll get you up to the weather and all that in just a second. Greg Hall, gubernatorial candidate, Republican candidate, going to join us here in just a few minutes, and we'll have a great conversation with him. Later on in the hour, we'll get you up to date with news and all that, and whatever else we can come up with for this hour of the show. It is 9:16. Let's pause for weather, and then a quick commercial break, and then we will talk with Greg Hall on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. A little windy today, especially around Carlsbad and Artesia. Wind gusting to 40 miles an hour. For Roswell, not quite as windy, but still pretty breezy. We'll be getting sunshine across the area. Mid-80s on the afternoon high. Overnight, clear and windy. Low 40s. We're getting upper 60s for the high on Sunday. Following a cold front, it will stay sunny, though. Sunday and 70 on Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
When you or a loved one need medical transport, Trans-Aero answers the call. Trans-Aero Medevac operates 3 rotorcraft bases and 1 fixed-wing base in southeastern New Mexico, allowing them to respond quickly to emergencies across diverse terrains. Their fleet extends coverage deep into New Mexico and West Texas, including Artesia, Carlsbad, Roswell, Ruidoso, Midland, Lubbock, and the surrounding areas. Ready to answer the call when every second counts. Trans-Aero Medevac, proudly serving southeastern New Mexico and West Texas. loan for free thanks to the partnership from the City of Artesia and Trans-Aero Medevac. Life support by air.
Roswell Tire and Appliance will beat Home Depot prices on appliances, and they will beat discount tire prices on tires. It's not complicated. It's not difficult. Listen one more time. Roswell Tire and Appliance will beat Home Depot prices, and they will beat discount tire prices. Come into the store for all the details.
This is why the Maloney of Roswell Tire and Appliance inviting you to shop local and save.
They'll beat Home Depot prices, and they'll beat discount tire prices. 101 South Main. Call 575-213-1362 or go online at RoswellTireandAppliance.com.
Artesia General Hospital presents expert advice for a healthy spring. Seasonal transitions can affect your immune system and respiratory health. Combat allergies by monitoring pollen forecasts and using prescribed treatments consistently. Increase physical activity gradually to avoid strain after a less active winter. Prioritize hydration and balanced nutrition, focusing on fresh produce rich in antioxidants and vitamins. Spring is also an ideal time for preventive screenings and annual checkups. Early detection remains one of the most powerful tools in healthcare. Healthy habits this season build a foundation for wellness all year long. Healthy Tips, proudly presented by Artesia General Hospital. Ready to help take care of you and your family.
Hey, take me out of my old trade. Take me out of my ride.
Hey Roswell, spring out of your old car, truck, or SUV today and hop into a new Ford or quality pre-owned vehicle with massive savings during the Spring Out Sales event at Roswell Ford. Are you still making payments on your current vehicle and want out early? Your friends at Roswell Ford need your trade today, so we're willing to overpay even if you owe up to $10,000 more than your trade is worth. We'll do whatever it takes to help you escape so you can upgrade to a new Ford or quality pre-owned vehicle. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. Roswell Ford has partnered with more aggressive lenders that will push to approve your credit with great rates and terms, even if it's less than perfect. Lower prices, exceptional trade-in values, and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell. Call 575-623-3673 or online at roswellford.com. Interest accrues from date of sale with approved credit, subject to lender approval. Offers not combined.
Are you worried about your taxes? Okay, so I'm talking to those of you out there that have not filed in a few years with the IRS or state. It's time to get worried, and here's why. The IRS is getting back from their own COVID lockdown, and they're hiring more enforcers, and they're going to come after people that owe taxes. So if you're a 1099 worker, and maybe you just plain forgot to file your taxes, you need to call the professionals right now at the Tax Helpline. They are experts at knowing the tax regulations, and their goal is to help you pay as little as possible. Call right now and get a 100% free tax evaluation. Remember, before the IRS knocks on your door, knock on our door. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, make this free call right now.
Call Texas 321 now at 800-808-9443. 800-808-9443. That's 800-808-9443.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Bamboo plants can grow up to 36 inches in a day. So if you're told you're growing like a weed, you can say, no, I'm growing like a bamboo. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 22 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, gubernatorial candidate for the state of New Mexico, Republican candidate Greg Hull, back with us. Good morning, Greg.
Well, good morning. How are you today, Mike?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Fantastic.
I know this is kind of, especially with the June primary, I know June's, but this is like the 2-minute warning really for primary season.
It really
is. Kind of the
is.
hot and heavy time.
It really is. It's at this point it's full court press.
Yeah. So I imagine this is kind of you busy, getting your ducks in a row. I think since the last time we talked, we've had a few other hats thrown into the ring here now. So I imagine you're just kind of gearing up for that portion.
Yeah,
of the
on the
campaign.
Republican side, it's narrowed down to 3. I mean, originally there was a whole list of them, right? Yeah. And then, of course, since the last time you and I talked, we went to the pre-primary convention, and I swept the convention. There were 5 that went in. 2 of us came out, and then 1 candidate got signatures to get back on.
Gotcha.
So So it is a three-way. It is a three-way race at this point in time into the primary on June 2nd. So we want to remind everybody that you can. That's primary election day.
That's right.
Early voting is going to start here real quick.
Yeah, we're
May.
right on the corner to that here. Yeah,
here in May, where you can go and get your early vote cast.
But this is your opportunity, and like we know that it's a little different with the more open primaries. Independents can now vote, and so
right.
I imagine that does add a little bit of a wrinkle to your campaign on how you address. I mean, at the end of the day, you guys are going to the general election regardless. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And so you're going to have at some point appease Democrats to get them to vote for you in the state of New Mexico. But you kind of get a chance to start early a little bit with some of that.
Absolutely.
Here. Yeah.
Well, you get to start early with the independents to see where they're going to fall, how many of them are going to come out and vote, right?
Sure.
Especially in a primary, because this will be the first year that independents are allowed to vote in a primary, and what they have to do is they have to go and decide, okay, am I supporting a Democrat candidate to go through, or am I supporting a Republican candidate to go through? And you have to pull either a Republican ticket or a Democrat ticket. You can't blend the two.
Sure.
Right? Now, there's implications to that, because I've heard, some people say, well, I'm going to change my party affiliation to an independent so I can vote for a Republican or a Democrat, right? Sure. But the implications of that is you have to remember that when you pull that ticket, it's not just the governor's race. You're voting on all the down ballot races as well, everything, right? So you have to think about who you're supporting that might have a contested race down ballot.
Yeah, but to say, when you're up at governor or levels above or representative, odds are there's probably going to be a Democrat and Republican candidate.
Correct.
There. But when you get to county commission or sheriff or county level, not always going to have a Democrat. So if you're an independent, and let's face it, for Republicans, if you want to vote for Chaves County Sheriff or County Commissioner, you're going to have to vote in the Republican primary.
Right.
Because there will not be a general election, really, choice. It's going to be one name.
Right. It's going to be one name. Now, those are just your uncontested races, and they're going to go through to the general, and that's basically it.
Sure.
And if there's not a Democrat or somebody else running as an independent that jumps on the ballot, then that race is over.
Absolutely.
Even going into the general, it's just, it's done. You wait till November, and
so
it's
independents
over.
Out there thinking about this, base that decision on where you live and and I'm just saying, if you live in Chaves County, you're really going to have to vote in the Republican primary to really have a say in your candidate choice. For
absolutely,
I mean, obviously on the higher, but for the county level positions, and absolutely, that's your choices.
So it's a big choice to make.
Absolutely,
but I'm glad that the independents get to vote in the primary this time, and kind of go from there.
Well, and this is where, and we had this conversation before. I'm one of those people that I would love to get New Mexico. I mean, yes, I lean conservative in my ideology, my thinking, everything.
Sure.
That being said, I'd love to get New Mexico back to the middle. Mm-hmm. That would be a victory.
I don't disagree with you.
That would be a victory. That would, we since the dawn of the state, this has been nothing but corrupt politics left. I mean, go to Lincoln, New Mexico, read all the cattle. Before this thing was a state, this thing was corrupt. It's rooted in that history, and we've never, ever, ever, ever fully gotten out of that.
I agree.
And so we need to start there. And for folks that don't know, we talked last time, but of course, Greg's got his experience through, serving as mayor of Rio Rancho. You've seen New Mexico politics pretty well.
Oh, absolutely.
Through your other positions.
And quite frankly, that's what I believe makes me the strongest candidate going into the primaries, because of my experience of actually running the third or second largest city. We get into that debate all the time.
Sure.
Are we the
depends on the census at the moment.
Exactly. Third or second largest city in the state, but we've delivered actual results. We've delivered experience. And that has reflected in Rio Rancho being recognized as the #1 safest large city in the state.
Sure.
We've been nationally recognized as a best place to live time and time again by livability.com.
Well, and just me, this is my own perspective, and I mentioned this to you last time too, is I joined, I came to New Mexico via the military. I 97, I got stationed at Holloman and met my wife, and I've been a New Mexican ever since.
Yes.
That being said, in my almost 30 years of being here in New Mexico, there is no other community, I think, that has grown or gone. Like when I first moved here, Rio Rancho was a couple buildings, and you know what I mean. It was a kind of ghost town. It was it was planned. But it wasn't it was not built yet.
Correct.
Right? And the growth and like you said, in the short time of 25 years, which is short in the big terms of things.
Sure.
That city has gone from a ghost town to, like you said, arguably the number 2, number 3 city in the state of the New Mexico right now. There's not many communities in the country, in the world, that can brag of those kind of numbers. I mean, there's one or two, but by and large, that's not the way
No,
it goes.
we've been known as one of the fastest growing cities in the United States.
Sure, yeah.
The fastest growing city in the state of New Mexico.
Yeah.
And we've done it in a way, Mike, that has been very well planned in the sense that, well, I take that back. In the early days, it wasn't good planning. But when I took office, I had to kind of deal with what I had to deal with. And so we've really restructured a lot of things in the last 12 years to make it a much more effective city, a growing, booming economy. Rio Rancho was extremely negatively impacted by the housing market collapse in 2008 and all of the things that came along with that. When I took office in 2014, we had foreclosures all over the city. We had infrastructure had been neglected for decades. We had a utility that was on the brink of bankruptcy. I mean, there was some problems.
There was some rough stuff.
There was some rough stuff going on. Now all of our credit ratings are the highest that they've ever been. Our bond ratings. We've had
which is a very big deal in government work.
It really is, because if your bond ratings are high, you can go out to the bond market, get favorable interest rates, and make sure that you're paying the least amount in interest, and the most amount of your money is going back into taxpayer services.
Nothing looks worse than when your county, city, or whatever gets their credit rating downgraded.
Absolutely,
that's like the mark of shame.
It really is. It really is. And I'm going to say this: we just elected my replacement on Tuesday this week in a landslide, which was wonderful. Congratulations to Paul Weimer, the new mayor of Rio Rancho, mayor-elect. And I'm headed home to hand the mantle off to him.
Nice.
I'm going home this weekend to pack my office. So
I get kicked out, huh?
I got to go ahead.
Set
Get
the
out
office list for a minute, huh?
Exactly. So I got to go get my office cleaned out and get ready to really ramp up and just charge through this next 30 days right up to the primary. But I ask people that are out there that are looking at the candidates. Please do your research on the success that we've had in Rio Rancho, the clean audits that we've had, the national rankings and ratings, and it shows that we can be successful in New Mexico. And we can do it openly. We can do it transparently. We can do it honestly. And that's what I've worked hard. I was Joe Citizen, blue-collar worker that had no political experience whatsoever, small business owner, and I just said, hey, we can do this better. And I got in that office, and we did it better. And Rio Rancho is a nationally ranked and recognized city. We've managed to hold the line on taxation. The sales tax rate is the same today as when I took office 12 years ago, because we grew the economy, we didn't stack it. And when you look at our total overall property tax mill rate today, it's lower today than when I took office. So we've invested in public safety, we've invested in infrastructure, we've invested in quality of life. We've worked closely with our school district to maintain high levels of great public education. And that's what makes that city stand out statewide. And as I travel around the state and you say Rio Rancho, they go, we might not know who Greg Hull is, but we know who Rio Rancho is.
The reputation of Rio Rancho.
Right.
And I want to stay in that vein. This isn't really a campaign thing, but just a gee whiz curious thing. But if you look geographically, Rio Rancho's, by logistics is kind of a bedroom community of Albuquerque.
It really is.
It's the way the neighborhood's set up. But that being said, I think there's been a real great job of separating that Rio Rancho is just not a suburb of Albuquerque. It's its own city and own thing. And I'm curious is, for growth of a city like Rio Rancho, having a city like Albuquerque in that is that more helpful or more hurtful in trying to get where you're at with Rio Rancho? Because I could see both ways on that, where maybe it does help spawn because they're saying, okay, business, we got a big major city near us. That certainly is an attractive thing for businesses. But at the same time, you're also competing against them for these same businesses and same things. So I'm just curious, how did that play as a good thing or a bad thing or indifferent?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay.
I'm going to say it's a blend. So it's a bad thing when you consider the crime that's out of control in Albuquerque.
Sure.
When you consider the homelessness that's out of control in Albuquerque,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to make sure that that doesn't creep up into your city, right? So,
Right.
So investing strong in public safety was critical and key. I'm very proud of the fact that we more than doubled our budget into the police department under my administration, and because we wanted to make sure that they had the resources to do the job that we were asking them
Sure.
to do. But at the same point in time, it was detrimental again because with businesses that would come up and snuggle in right next to our city down at Cottonwood Mall, it was really hard to recruit businesses into Rio Rancho because all the businesses knew this, if we put something here at Cottonwood Mall, everybody will come down the hill and just use us down here.
Sure.
So we would really lose the tax revenue from that. But what lends a benefit is that the proximity of Albuquerque to some of the resources they have. For example, they've got some great facilities like the zoo, the biopark.
Yeah, that's a selling point for residents in Rio Rancho.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we're very close to an international airport, right? And so we don't have to build those things ourselves.
Sure.
But there are cultural aspects that we've been trying to incorporate into Rio Rancho that make Rio Rancho uniquely
its
Rio
own
Rancho.
identity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we worked very hard to create what I called a standalone economy that was not wholly and entirely dependent on the fact that Albuquerque was the only place that you could get services.
Sure.
For example, we have in our community 2 world-class hospitals.
Yeah.
And for a community our size, that's an incredible accomplishment.
Well, and schools as well. I mean, Cleveland and Rio Rancho are 2 of the best high schools in the state.
Absolutely. Dominate the sport.
They're very great. Yeah. Cleveland, there's probably a few 6A schools around here that Cleveland's a 4-letter word for, but that's another conversation.
right. Exactly.
We got Artesia down here. They rule the 4A, 5A world. I guess Cleveland, but absolutely, that's it is kind of interesting here. I do want to kind of shift gears to the governor's side of things. Obviously, coming up in the primary, like I said, we got a few candidates that you're up against.
Sure.
Coming. Obviously, they're Republicans, so ideally, they're going to share the same values, conservative and things like that.
Sure.
But so let me ask you this: what kind of separates you from where do you venture off ideologically from some of your opponents on the Republican side?
Ideologically, I don't think we're going to get too far off on where we're at.
Sure.
On crime, on public safety, investments in public safety, economic development, infrastructure improvement, making sure that we're building on our energy economy that is here in New Mexico. I think we're all going to be very similar in those approaches. Education is something that I know we're all laser focused on.
Absolutely.
I got to tell you, the bell has been rung on CYFD with the latest Attorney General report that came out. There was a 200-page just scathing indictment against some of the things that are happening in CYFD. I think all of us are going to be very laser focused on some of those things.
Gotcha.
We're going to hit the ground running on those issues. What's going to separate me from those other 2 candidates is my experience, and experience matters. I have been working in the political climate for the last 12 years. It's current, it's relevant, and it's in the today situation where we're dealing with behavioral health issues, we're dealing with homelessness, we're dealing with crime. We're dealing with a lack of healthcare resources. And those are things that I've taken head on in today's climate. When you think about whether it's global politics, national politics, or statewide politics, or local politics, Rio Rancho has been at the forefront and the tip of the spear when it comes to maintaining strong quality of life, strong public safety, and great resources in a community. Now we can do that statewide by helping communities grow.
Sure.
I think one of the things that when I take office, not only do I have that small business experience because I'm a business owner too.
Before the mayors and all that, you were a business owner.
Yeah, let's just say it. I know my 2 opponents have run businesses too, and they've made payroll. Well, I've made payroll. And, I stepped into that job coming out of a blue collar, I owned a business, but I went to work every day in steel toe boots and blue jeans.
Sure.
Right. And so I know what it is to make a payroll. I know what it is to navigate all of the pitfalls and roadblocks that you get from the state of New Mexico. I changed the climate in Rio Rancho, making it one of the most business-friendly cities to move a small business into. We have one of the highest per capita ratios of small businesses in our city.
And I can tell you right now, New Mexico, that's desperately. I mean, this is one of New Mexico's, and I think all sides can agree on this.
Right.
How many times do we see major corporations setting up shop in Colorado, Utah, and Texas, and they flew right by us because our legislation hinders us more than it helps us when it comes to promoting business.
Absolutely. And peeling back that red tape, we know that we can get it done, and we know that we can do it quickly because just recently you're there just outside of Rio Rancho in Sandoval County, and it was a partnership with the state, the county, and the city. We saw Castilian, what was known as Project Ranger, a hypersonic missile manufacturing facility coming to New Mexico. We're going to need to capitalize on the aerospace industry and some of those other industries that we've got strong fundamental building blocks right here in the state of New Mexico.
We have.
It is the asset that we have.
I was just telling someone the other day about this. It's like you look at our military facilities here in New Mexico, Holloman, Cannon, Kirtland. 2 of the 3 at least have been threatened a couple times with BRAC closures over the last 23 years. Here's the thing. The problem is you can't close those bases because the missions that they serve in this area, it's put it this way, because of the flying, the desert and everything, we have arguably some of the best training for flying in the state.
Absolutely.
So Holloman and Kirtland and Cannon, that's part of the training. And so the facility in and of itself, because it's located here, would be a detriment to the nation if you shut down these prime training locations. Your pilots, your tip of the spear, the guys that are sitting blowing stuff up, guess where they're training? Here in New Mexico.
Here in New Mexico, absolutely.
And that's what, and so to me, they will never close. And so the things you're talking about here, bringing the tech, the SpaceXs and Virgins and all of the above in here, because we live in the desert, and it's ideally suited for these type of activity. It just is.
Well, and look at what you have here in Roswell with the airport that you have here, the international airport that you have here, and the fact that you can land a 747 here, and that you've got all kinds of resources here,
thanks to being a military base.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And when you look at the resources that you have here in Roswell, I'm just amazed that this area with the energy resources, y'all also have very strong water resources here as well.
It's the hardest water in the world, but there's plenty of it.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. And it's very well managed. I mean, it's you guys have really set up kind of a national model here when it comes to that. Rio Rancho has too with our aquifer recharge system that I want to take to cities across the state. But that being said, I'm just surprised that the eastern side of New Mexico has not just exploded with economic growth.
You never see us on TV like they say in Albuquerque. It's like, oh, today's the Tuesday. That's the water even day or whatever. We never hear that kind of stuff in Roswell, Rio Rancho either. I've never seen it there either.
Right. Well, we do have water restriction days because we are unlimited resources, but we do have that. Sure. And we're going to continue to do that because we want to be a good neighbor and a good partner in the state of New Mexico and make sure that we're only using the water that we need, and then returning that resource back to the river or back to the aquifer, which is the investments that we've made in Rio Rancho.
Sure, but because of good stewardship, it's less of an emergency, and it's just good practice. It's like, hey,
absolutely,
when you go in the house, close the door behind you.
Well, yeah, exactly. And turn the lights off in the room when you're not using the lights in the room, right?
Exactly.
But with the energy resources and the resources that you have over here on the eastern side of the state, I'm surprised that Roswell's not one of the second or third largest city in the state of New Mexico, right? Because you've got the resources here, so we're going to capitalize on that. We're going to try to help see some of that economic growth over here in the eastern side of the state and grow it.
And to be honest, yes, with the, like you said, with the airport, obviously, and you're well of this with the air races now here. That's another stepping stone to increasing the footprint of what Roswell is in the New Mexico.
Well, I met with your mayor, Mayor Jennings, just down in Lovington. He was at the New Mexico Cattle Growers Association meeting, and we were talking about some of the things that are going to be really impacting the ranchers and the cattle industry going forward. And there's some critical issues that they're looking at, and got an update on the Phillips 66 pipeline. That was very interesting. And then the New World screwworm, that's a potential threat that's coming up from Mexico that could really impact the livestock industry in this state. We've got to be vigilant about that. We've got to develop plans right now to deal with that if it does arrive. Or they say not if, but when it arrives in the United States, we're going to need to deal with that very rapidly.
Build that barrier wall, whatever it is, to protect us from that. Yeah.
Exactly, that's a fly, and it's very invasive species, and it's
I imagine there's some inoculation or something you have to give your livestock to.
Well,
I have no idea.
Basically, you can cure it if it happens. The cattle can be treated.
So there's no immunity shot or whatever.
Not an immunity shot, but what they do is they send out sterilized flies to counterproduce these things. So when they breed with them, that they don't continue to spread.
Makes
right?
sense. Yeah.
And so some very interesting things there. And then looking at water systems that are going through the state of New Mexico and how we're going to continue to preserve and help our agriculture industry throughout the state of New Mexico.
Absolutely.
It's such a vital industry for our communities.
Well, and there's so many ways to, it's speaking of water, it's like we have the Leprino, the cheese plant, and there really is that synergy with the dairy industry and the water, like really the water that's used at the dairy. You know, it's like there's some of that water that's just, and it goes, so they literally take some of that water, give it back to the farmers to water their crops that feed the cows that make the milk there's really that synergy there where the plant is also providing things for allowing the cattle so they can get the milk. And so there is that, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type synergy there.
And it's the whole cycle of things, right? And that's what once again, I'll point out, we do that in Rio Rancho with with our aquifer recharge system. We pump the water, we use the water, we clean the water, we put it back in the aquifer, or we pump the water, we use the water, we clean the water, put it back in the Rio Grande.
It's like multi-purpose.
Absolutely,
where applicable, obviously.
Absolutely,
and that's being the good steward of the water, and then of course. And of course we deal with in this end the Texas water rights, and that's the running joke here is whiskeys for water's for fighting, whiskeys for drinking.
Exactly. Absolutely.
That's the running joke here. So.
It really is, and we talk about that up north in Rio Rancho. That's a true statement from the Colorado border all the way to the Texas line, and the Texas compacts are something that have a real and meaningful impact on our water availability in the state of New Mexico, and we're going to have to make sure that we're managing that correctly, whether it's the Rio Grande or the Pecos, to make sure that we're being good stewards with our aquifers and our riparian sources of water.
Absolutely. We got a few more minutes here, but I kind of want to focus this a little bit on the party side of things, and where I think, we talk about we talk about the different, obviously, I mentioned earlier about the corruption, our state's history, and that history there of liberal politics since day one here. And I always say, well, we get back to middle. That being said, I think also part of the problem is the Republican Party in New Mexico's, they gotta, and I know you're like, that's why I'm here, that's what I'm trying to do, but I feel like we can't get out of our own way sometimes when it comes to, and to be honest, where I think the Republicans are losing right now, it's not on policy and issue. It's the pocketbook. It's the wallet. That's how they're winning. And I'm not going to lie, Greg and every other Republican candidate is behind the eight ball because the Democrat leaders right now have $1 million war chest where these guys have a tenth of that number. And I don't care what anybody says, that's a huge disadvantage in campaigns.
It really is. And that's why I would ask people to go out and look at our website, greghull.com, and contribute to our campaign, because we need to start building those monetary resources so that we can get our message out.
Sure.
I mean, you running around the state, doing radio interviews and getting on Facebook and social media and all the other places, that's all good, fine and good, but you really need to invest dollars to make sure you're getting your message out to every person.
Sure.
So that the people of New Mexico know how critical it is to get out and vote in this election.
Absolutely.
November will set the tone for how this state moves forward. And I can tell you right now, the policy positions that are going to come out are going to be really polar opposites when it comes to moving the state forward.
Sure.
In energy and job creation and economic opportunity.
Yeah.
This will be the election that will impact the state going forward in either a very positive way or a very detrimental way, in my opinion.
And that's where I think at the end of the day, I think most New Mexicans align with the values of the Republican Party. I think
Absolutely.
per family and per thing, I think if you said, all right, this is what a Republican stands for and check all these boxes, I think if a family looks and says, yeah, that's me, that's me, that's
Right.
me. But again, getting back to the money and the marketing and the advertising, you're getting the Republican Party's getting outplayed in New Mexico on that side.
Agreed.
It's just the facts, and I think that's why we're losing elections. I think if and I know you sell the policy, but I think we just need that thing. We need to find a way to raise the money, whether it's I don't know how that is, but we got to put a sex appeal on it to get where people want to, because at the end of the day, I think once they're willing to sit down and listen and not put whatever preconceived notions they have about Democrat, Republican automatically in there, they're going to sit down and listen and say, you know what, that makes sense.
Right.
That makes sense. And like, oh, that's a Republican value. Oh, is it? Okay, I didn't know that. You know what I mean? I feel like if you sat down and took R&D out of the thing and said, are you for this? Are you for this? Are you for this? They're going to say, yeah, well, then that's a Republican.
And then and that aligns with Republicans, but what it really comes down to is personal values,
Sure.
right? What are your personal values and which party aligns with those the most?
Sure.
So I wouldn't necessarily call this one thing a Republican value or a Democrat value, because in Rio Rancho, I can tell you this right now, I won my last election with almost 70% of the vote.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't do that unless you have independent support and Democrat support.
Yeah, you got to come across the fence. Absolutely.
And I'm going to tell you right now, that is that being said, when people watch how I have focused on policy issues to improve people's safety and improve their quality of life, that's what people are looking for.
And I would even argue, and I'm not trying to, people, conservative, your values, your thing, you stick with that. But that being said, people that are willing to listen, willing to be a little more moderate, because at the end of the day, that's our legislature. You could be the most conservative, the most liberal person, but you're not going to get everything you want.
Right.
You're going to have to compromise. And so you got to find the right people that can be moderate on the things that are worth being moderate on, and conservative on the things when it's time to draw the line in the sand on.
Absolutely.
And I think some of our uber conservatives need to say, you know what, pick your don't line in the sand things, but understand you're going to have to compromise on the other things sometimes. And then both sides need to do.
And look, that's what I think most people want to know is, do I have a seat at the table? Am I going to be a part of this conversation? Or are you just going to go off and make decisions that impact me and not listen to a word that I have to say?
Sure.
And that's what people don't want. And my reputation is that I sit down at the table, I talk to people, I listen to people, and we move forward in a way that benefits the community as a whole.
Yeah.
And that's the way I'm going to lead as governor of New Mexico, is we're going to move forward in a way that benefits the state as a whole. But you have to take into consideration the fact that we've got people that have jobs throughout the state, and each individual's needs are going to be very different.
Absolutely.
Right? And it's impossible to please every individual, right? But you have to make sure that the policies that you're moving forward with are going to benefit the most amount of people as you move forward.
Absolutely. And there's the juggle of being a governor or a mayor or any other political leader there.
Absolutely. And that's where you rely more on, instead of public opinion is absolutely very important. But I am a matrix, data-driven guy, right? I want to see outside entities that are looking at us, rating us, and ranking us, and saying that city's doing it right, or that state's doing it right.
Sure.
And right now, everything that we're hearing is this state's doing it wrong. when it comes to education, when it comes to public safety, when it comes to addressing our healthcare needs in the
And the
state.
numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. That's why we're 49th and 50th in every category that matters when it comes to, crime and education and these things we talk about.
Absolutely.
Every year,
And those things don't have to be that way. And I've proved it in Rio Rancho.
Absolutely, and we desperately need those fixed. I think that's kind of, as a state, I don't care what side of the fence you are, all of us agree. I think people feel less safe in their community anywhere in the state right now than they did 10, 15 years ago.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
With the exception, and I'm going to point this out,
Rio Rancho.
of Rio Rancho. Because the last community survey we did, 97% of the people surveyed said they feel safe in their community during the day.
Absolutely.
That's a huge number.
Yeah.
That's 3 points shy of perfect.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
I mean, so you can get there.
Yes.
And that just comes from hard work
Absolutely.
and listening to the people, because that was not the number when I first took office.
Sure.
And we listened to the citizens and what was most important to them when it came to public safety and infrastructure and quality of life.
Absolutely.
And we turned our policies toward those things.
And it's one of those things that, yes, you're not going to fix it overnight, but it's one bite at a time. You
Correct.
make a change here, you start seeing the trickle effect of that. Then the next change or what, next thing you know, it goes from worst to first over that period of time.
Exactly.
There. It really
we
does
did not get there overnight.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We were in full-on stagnation when I took office, and now we've become a very vibrant business community.
Yeah, it could take a minute to screw something up, but sometimes it takes years to fix that screw up. And that's kind of
absolutely.
That's definitely in this type of deal.
That you're so right. It takes a flash second to break something.
Yeah.
And then it can take years to fix it. Right.
Absolutely.
And so,
that's kind of what you go through when it comes
and
to
right
this kind
now.
of stuff.
We've got years and years and years of living, band-aiding broken things together,
absolutely,
limping along. And Mike, I'm going to just be real straightforward about this. We've had the resources over the last 8 years with the revenues that this state has seen.
We are not a poor state by any stretch of the
Not a poor
imagination.
state.
Not at all.
We're not a poor state. But for some reason, our policies tend to keep people in poverty, right? You're sitting on $70 billion worth of permanent funds.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, and this is the Democrat ideology. Their ideology of a Democrat is they want to provide for you. They want you to rely on them to provide for you, and you. Whereas a Republican generally says, "No, I'll give you the tools to go get it yourself." Yeah. That's what we want to do.
Right.
And that's ideally, so that lines up exactly why our state's here and why we want to, because guess what? If I can keep doling out government checks for you, then I've got your control. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what those are. If you look at when you think about your government assistance and all that, it's them, because everyone comes with a caveat, doesn't it?
Yes.
It does. And that's all I'm saying. And at the end of the day, people are on it. But I think if people had a chance to not be on it, and they're going to take that every time.
And once again, I'm just going to point back to my experience.
Sure.
In Rio Rancho, when I took office, the median household income in Rio Rancho was about $52,000 a year. It is now up around $87,000 a year. When I took office in Rio Rancho, Intel Corporation had 1 foot out the door, and they used to be one of the state's largest exporters. They generated so much revenue for the state, and they created thousands of jobs. When I took office, they were down to 900 employees, down from 9,000.
Wow.
Okay. And now we've got, fortunately, they've reinvested in the New Mexico facility, and they're back up around 3,000 jobs.
Gotcha. So they're back. They had a down thing, but they survived.
Well,
the
they
storm
were
and
leaving
grown
the
back
state.
up. Yeah.
And this is another thing that it happened before my day, and unfortunately, once the die was cast, it was cast. But when you look at corporations like Intel in their other facilities around the country, whether it's Arizona or Portland, when they built plants in Arizona and Portland, they went in and created an ecosystem around those facilities of all the vendors and suppliers that actually fed into those manufacturing facilities. We missed the boat on that, and that should have happened years before I was ever in office. When they built that plant out in Rio Rancho, there should have been vendors and other support agencies recruited and brought into the state to support that manufacturing facility right here in New Mexico. But we took the golden egg and then forgot to put the other things in there that make it, that help it grow.
We'll call that a lesson learned.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Look, we've got a huge opportunity right now in the state of New Mexico. When you think about the oil and gas industry, let's just talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for domestic production right here in the United States, we'd probably be looking at gas prices of somewhere around $8 a gallon right now because of what's going on in the Straits of Hormuz. Okay,
in Europe.
In Europe,
they're perennially always having high gas prices. I'm telling you, European gas prices are 2 to 3 times higher than what you pay in the United States.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so domestic production right now is really helping people in their pocketbooks because we do have that production and we're not wholly and completely dependent on foreign oil supplies at this point in time. We should be heralding that in the Permian Basin right now, going, look, we're keeping things stable in the United States while international problems are becoming a turmoil.
Yeah,
they're in turmoil right now.
This was 4 years ago under the other administration. We would have been in trouble.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you're right.
Absolutely, because we wouldn't have the domestic production that we have today.
Absolutely.
And you remember in the previous administration, they went to OPEC and said, you gotta increase production so that we can bring our gas prices down. And they basically said, nope, we're going to do what we're going to do, right?
We're supposed to do what now? Yeah, good luck to you. See you
yeah,
later.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we saw, fuel prices get up in the $5-6 range nationally, and that was really expensive. And I remember everybody going, hey, there was no other than just we're cutting back domestic production and we're going to rely more on foreign supply. There was no real reason why those gas prices went sky high like they did. At least right now, we have a reason that they're happening.
Absolutely.
And when we see the end of that, I think you'll see those gas prices come back down.
Sure.
But it's domestic production that's stabilizing those prices right now. In my opinion, I'm not an economist, but I look to the Permian.
It makes sense.
And it's in full swing production right now, and we should be embracing that. Going, hey, let's take advantage of that because we're standing out as a global supplier and an economy stabilizer.
Absolutely.
So why wouldn't we